What's up, everybody? Welcome to Booze and Biz. Today is February 8th. Believe it or not, February 8th, 2023. Welcome to the greatest business and drinking show in the entire universe, Booze and Biz. Tonight, I'm drinking beers. I'm just drinking beers. We had a little bit of a rough night last Saturday. My wife is in a Mardi Gras crew, right? So they ride in the parade and throw all the stuff from the floats, right? And they're like a big deal around here. So Saturday night was the Mardi Gras ball for her crew, and we turned up a little bit. So I think I'm going to take a little break. Definitely slowing down the alcohol consumption altogether to get ready for as we get closer to Mardi Gras, but definitely lowering the liquor. So we're going to go just beer tonight. So I've got some Bud Light and I've got some Dos Equis. It's going to be a great night. If you guys want to support the show, please just do so by supporting the businesses that support the Jump Off. So those can be found in the description. That's for you podcast and you YouTube folks. For those of you that are on Facebook, that's basically Rolls All, Inflatable Office, Event Hawk. Like those are who support us. So support them. That's how you can show your love for the show. As we get into everything, right? These shows are all super interesting because you never know where they're going to go. 2 weeks ago, we went 4 hours. Last week it was much shorter, but still a great show. But I love to hear your guys' feedback. So if you're listening live, please just drop it in the comments somewhere. I go back and read all those on Facebook. If you want to text me or Facebook message me, hit me on Twitter. I don't even really care. Just give me your feedback some way, shape, or form. Just helps me figure out how to make the show a little better. If you're listening on the podcast or on YouTube, same thing. Just go find me and give me your feedback. I love it. We got a nice little room here. So those of you on Facebook, where you guys at? We got Jana in the house, Justin Kenyon in the house. Two household names. I feel like I don't see enough of you guys. Who else is on here? We got Chapman. Whoa. Chapman Simmons. What's up? What's going on, Chapman? And then over in Zoom, we got our usual characters. We got David from Aired Up. Thought I saw Wesley too jump in there. Yep, he's in there. Kevin was on the Discord live, which nobody's on. I'm on Discord live right now. Nobody's on it. Casey Treasures, that's 2 weeks in a row, man. What's up? Thanks. Again, a shout out for you for telling me my mic was muted last week. That was awesome. So thank you guys for making my Wednesday awesome. I'm here to try and make your Wednesday awesome every single time. So if you're on any other platform besides Facebook or Zoom, consider subscribing to whatever platform you're listening on. It will warm my heart. It will warm my heart the most. So, all right. Let's jump into the show. This one, I did my best to try and keep this one kind of light. I felt like, so when I was prepping the content for this, I felt like I could have just typed, my outline for like 99 hours. So I tried to keep it as light as possible. It is a gritty topic, to say the least, because it's just, maybe that's just because it's near and dear to my heart, but it's complex, right? So tonight we're going to do part one of a two-parter that is how to find someone that can replace you. All right. That's going to be part one. Part two will be next week, which is how to train someone to replace you, AKA cloning. But tonight is how to find someone that can replace you. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So now you may hear that and it may kind of trigger you, right? I say how to find someone to replace you. Right. So if you're the owner of the business, or if you're just a leader in the business, you may be thinking, well, I don't necessarily want somebody to replace me. No. You actually do. And the reason is because the more people can replace you in the business in every single capacity, the more you can slow down and work on the business, not in the business. Right. That's kind of a cliche term nowadays. What it really means, though, is you can be the CEO and work on vision and values and big stuff, new projects, not be the worker bee that's cleaning the toilets or anything else of that nature, right? So the way to find and the best one of the coolest things that on that topic that I was taught actually recently by Wes when I was on the blocks was, he said to take a piece of paper or multiple pieces of paper, and on the paper write down every single job that is in your business. Then right next to it, write the name of the person that does that job, right? So in the beginning, when your company is small, it's going to be every single job, right? CEO, president, shareholder, VP of marketing, right? Get creative and have fun with it. And then it's going to be your name next to everything. Then what you do is work backwards to try and get your name off of every single thing on that list except CEO. And then maybe if you have some crazy marketing passion you want to keep your hands in the marketing bucket, badass, do that. But I thought that was something that was super cool, and is actually a project that I'm going to be working on at some point in time once we get past tax season, if I'm just being honest. But make that list and then get your name off of all the jobs possible. All right. So the way that you find a person that can replace you is kind of, I kind of think of it as twofold. So we're going to kind of cover it like that tonight, where it's going to be a two-pronged approach. So the first one is going to be constant recruiting. Like, you just have to keep recruiting so you can get as many interviews as possible. Think about how many interviews you have to do before you find somebody good. A whole bunch. So you need to be doing interviews, right, as much as possible. Then the second piece of that is you need to be doing great, but kind of like the word that's in bold is accurate interviews. Accurate interviews. All right. So, like I said, I kind of wanted to keep this light and see how much value I can add, but we're just going to jump right in and let's get rolling. So we're going to start with the recruiting piece. Now, I'm going to cover in depth the more in-person recruiting. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I think it's the best way to build a strong team. So an example of that would be you're at a party and one of your family members, whatever, your aunt comes up to you and says, "Hey, how's business?" And then you strike up the conversation that you need people to help you, right? That's what I'm going to really go in depth on, because that's what I think builds the strongest teams. That being said, I did want to touch real quickly on, sorry, I feel like my internet connection is going to go bad, so I'm going to turn this Discord thing off. Sorry, Discord. It was fun while it lasted, but nobody got on. Okay, so I'm going to touch briefly on the other ways you can recruit, right? Which is your Indeed. I don't remember the name of the other one now. I've had very, very marginal success with any of those online recruiting apps, or platforms, I guess you could call them. And then there's Facebook hiring. Like, you can go on your Facebook page and say you're hiring. Okay. We should all just do those to whatever capacity you whether you want to pay or not is up to you, right? You can do an Indeed for free, and it's like one listing. It's kind of limited, but shit, get it out there, because an applicant is an applicant, right? Once you get somebody that applies through those channels, right, where they're not in person, like you don't really have a way to have a cosign for them, what you're going to do in those situations is you're just going to call them and do kind of like a quick little phone interview. It's a good idea to jot down. It's a great idea to have a phone interview template that you have that you could just use every single time, right? But at least jot down some questions you want to ask, just to make sure they're like a mild, loose fit for the business, right? They have the people skills that you need. They can actually hold a conversation. They actually answer the phone. They're not a dick, whatever. You get it, right? Once you have a phone interview that goes okay, you then set up the interview with them so you can meet them in person. Okay. If this is a big if, but if you've got somebody in your business, right? If you're already of the size where you've got somebody in your business that you trust can do first interviews, where really it's just a gut, like, do you want to work with this guy or gal? Do those, figure out a way to do those to where it makes sense, because those people from Indeed are probably not showing up to the damn interview anyways. Okay. So if you can have somebody else screening those, right? You're going to do a phone screen, then have another employee screen them. It's not something I have done, but it is something that I have thought heavily about, and I'm actually going to start testing this year. So what I'm going to do is on a Saturday or Sunday, when the guys are already at the warehouse, I will set up one of those interviews for a time when they're back at the warehouse, right? So let's say they're going to be back at the warehouse after their route for 12:30. I'll set up an interview at like 12:45 or 1 while they're unloading or whatever. So that way that person can get there, have a conversation with them in the warehouse with one of my guys. And then one of my guys can just kind of report back to me and go, yo, I think you should talk to them. Or why the hell did you just pay me to talk to this guy? He was right. We won't go into it. So, but anyways, that is kind of what I guess you could call online recruiting, or how I would do it, how I do it, how I will do it. All right. Now let's jump into the in-person recruiting, because I think that is where you're going to get your most bang for the buck, just because as human beings, we're just naturally people, like we're just naturally drawn to people, right? And so when you can tell a story and compel another human being, guess what they're going to do? They're going to give you somebody good. All right. So here we go. First thing you want to do is think about how you want to get the word out that you're hiring in a manner that's going to get that other person you're talking to take action. Okay. The action you want them to take is they're going to give you the phone number of somebody good that they think will be great to work with you. Okay. To do this properly, it's not even close to enough to say, I'm looking for help or I can't find good help. Okay. You have to move them to action with a compassionate story. Okay. No freaking victim mentalities allowed here. None of this, woe is me, I can't find anybody good to hire, or kids these days just don't know how to work. All you're going to do when you rattle off cliche shit like that, the person you're talking to is just going to agree with you. And then the conversation will shift to this big bitch session about insert cliche here, right? It used to be millennials. I'm a millennial. I'm pretty fucking awesome, right? There's lots of awesome out there in the millennial time frame. Now go to the younger generation. They're going to bitch about, right? You guys know where all these conversations go. If you come in hard on self-pity, they're going to use all their energy to garner a shit ton of sympathy for you, and you are never going to build a strong business. Listen to this closely. We are entrepreneurs. Whose sympathy do we need? Nobody's. We're mutants. We're different. We don't need any of that shit, okay? So instead, what you're going to do is craft a compelling pitch about the vision you have for your business and how the team that you're building now is making that vision come to life already. You understand that? You go through and have a short, just 30 seconds of a little pitch where you have that communicates that. You have the person you're talking to, you have their attention instantly. Okay. Then you start to explain things. And this is if you have employees, you start to explain things about what you're doing to help your teammates grow, how you give them extra responsibilities, what you cover at your monthly meetings. Spoiler alert, you should have monthly meetings. Okay. How much fun you guys have on the job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Read the room and read the conversation with the person. Your intuition will inform you of what you need to hit there. But what you're doing is you're talking in a way that creates you as a commodity instead of desperation, right? Little pro tip here. While you're talking, say with, not for, as in you work with your guys, not that they work for you. Okay. So as you explain all those things and you say with, not for, what this does is it begins to paint you as a person that they're going to want to work for. The person you're talking to is going to start to become invested in your passion and your dream for market dominance. Okay. They'll feel drawn in by the movement that you're creating, right? And now that you're realizing that they're going to start to notice that you're special, you're a different person, you're a true leader, and they're going to want to have a chance to be a part of that amazing story that you're writing. Okay. They now want to help you. They want to get you a new employee. They're going to be less likely at this point to throw a name out their loser nephew, right? Because they know that special vision of yours deserves better than that lazy dope smoker, Ronnie. Now you have them invested. You have to help them understand exactly who you're looking for, as in the exact person in their life that they know would be great working with you. Okay. In this instance, you're basically turning into a salesman. You need to get their brain opened up to all the amazing people that they know. Think about all the people that you know. There's probably thousands of them if you really, really actually thought about it? How many of them are utterly amazing at what they do? How many of them would be utterly amazing at something else, right? So if you flip the script here and you're the recipient of this conversation, right, you're going to have names you can throw out. Moral of that story is everybody knows somebody that will be great working with you, okay? So I literally just start telling them who I'm looking for. And I try to make this up, right? But I just say, listen, I want your cousin who just got out of the army for 4 years and doesn't know what they want to do yet. Or your uncle, the music teacher who needs some extra money to work on the weekends and during the summer. Or your buddy, this is one of my favorite ones that I've never been able to get, but your buddy who's a firefighter that's looking for right, because they work kind of weird hours and they're off all the time, right? When they're not at the firehouse. Again, though, what you're doing in this conversation is trying to figure out or trying to communicate who they know that will be great with you and inspiring them to think about what name they should give you. All right. When they give you a name, you get that phone number. In this instance, you are a hunter with a spear out looking for talent, not a fisherman casting your lame ass one-sided business card into the lake hoping for a bite. Okay, so get their phone number and then ask the person you're talking to if they could do you a huge favor and reach out to that person so they know that you're going to get in contact with them tomorrow. When tomorrow comes, you're going to text that person, and that's because nobody on this earth wants a phone call. Okay, in this text conversation, you're going to be cordial, you're going to be nice, you're going to be yourself, right? But you're also going to be a little bit assertive about setting up an interview with them at your local coffee shop, okay? That point right there is where I'm going to interject and say that this is the crazy interview fun fact of the week. The amount of people that I've talked to that struggle and feel like they're drowning and just can't find good help no matter what, that don't do interviews is mind-blowing to me. Okay. Now, I understand that this could be out of ignorance, right? They were never in a hiring role prior to being an entrepreneur. So it doesn't come second nature to do that, right? And I'm empathetic to that, but I'm also here to tell you, if you're not doing interviews, that the chances of you hiring somebody that can replace you is like the lottery. You're just buying lottery tickets in people, but except you're spending way more money than $2 on a lottery ticket and a shitload of time to train them just to be let down again and again and again. And then you become cynical, right? When you don't win the lottery, you don't become cynical, right? You just keep buying lottery tickets blindly. When you can't hire somebody good, you start to get cynical, and then you have a negative feedback loop that everybody sucks. And now that, right, that's why you're in the situation to listen to this in the first place anyways, right? So if you're not doing interviews, the next section of this is for you. And we're going to get into it in just a second. Okay. But the amount of people that don't do interviews is just mind blowing to me. And it's like, of course you can't find good help. You're so desperate that it makes the people you talk to nauseous. Okay. You're building your professional relationships on the foundation that you need them, not that you're the leader that can show them how to win. When you're desperate, the foundation is built on them, that they're in charge, right? You need them. I think desperation is the ugly big sister of urgency. I love urgency, and it's totally acceptable to have an urgent need to hire. It's, however, never okay to be desperate. The applicants can smell it on you. They know you're not in control of your business. They know that you're a frazzled, over-caffeinated mess. To them, you're just a walking money sign. You are a hit it and quit it, quick fling for some fast cash. That's all that you are. They don't respect you. They don't look up to you. They sure as shit don't give a rip about your clients. They're here to prey on your desperation. And by the way, it's not them. It's not their fault. It's you. It's your fault. It's human nature to do those things when offered money from a person that has no plan and no vision, a person that's apparently devoid of leadership ability. Now, I'm not saying that you're potentially a poor leader now forever. What I'm saying is you may have got yourself into a position that's made you lead poorly currently. So let's slow down and fix that. Let's hire one good person and end the crazy fucking cycle of there's nobody good to hire. So how do we do that? The interview. I already teased this. The interview. So, and just to be frank with everybody, this is where my true passion lies. Like, I don't know what it is about team building with the extra emphasis on interviewing, but I love it. I can't get enough of it. Okay. So let's get into the interview. So what you're going to do in the interview is, before you start, you need to know what you're looking for from a values standpoint. Okay. What are the core values that your company is built on? What are the things that you need from an employee from a non-negotiable standpoint? Or to say that differently, what did they have to bring to the table that you're not willing to teach them? So for instance, I personally want employees that have a desire to make a positive impact on other people. It's literally core value number one in both of my businesses. That's because it's my personal core value number one. If I want to accomplish core value number one, I damn sure need people that share that core value with me. Now, they do not have to feel that value as directly as I do. They do not have to have that as their core value number one, or they don't even need to have a conscious knowledge of that, right? But that core value has to have seeds in them somewhere deep inside that help them create an urgency to do a great job by other people. Like, they just need to want to help other people, invest in other people. From there, I can nurture that and grow them into the culture of my companies relatively easy, right? Let's make an example of the opposite. So you hire a bullshitter that has a nasty rap sheet, and you have to babysit and reprogram them to want to positively impact other people because this lazy bullshitter is inclined to cheat and steal and lie to get what they want, right? You can see there that if you have somebody that shares core value number one in some tiny, tiny little way, you can create a stronger culture for your company around that core value versus having someone that's way out of alignment that you then have to impose your will upon constantly to help them operate within that core value. Okay. One of those things builds, the other requires you to just be a babysitter. Okay. So how do we make sure that they do fit our company and our values? Here's how we do that. And it's pretty simple, but it does definitely take some practice. Okay. So, and we can get into deeper versions of this after my little rant, or I can do whole freaking episodes of this later, but just let me know some feedback there. Okay. So, but how you do it is, instead of asking your cliche interview questions, which you guys all know what those are, where do you want to be in 5 years? Okay. Instead of those cliches, we're going to ask them to tell us stories. Okay. The reason is twofold. In the story, there has got to be a ton of details for it to be believable. So they will have to include a ton of details for their benefit or their detriment. Okay. When you're telling a story, you just can't make up enough things to have it be something that we're going to sit across the table from you drinking our coffees and just buy. Like, it's going to sound fake and it's going to sound made up. Okay. The other thing is their personal values will start to come shining through pretty quickly because they realize that they can't lie like in normal interviews and tell you a bunch of bullshit that you just want to hear, right? So a normal interview, you sit down and yeah, Normal interview, you sit down and your main goal is get jobs. So your sub goal is tell them whatever they want to hear. That's just the way it works. Okay. So when you've got to tell stories, there has to be so many facts and so much detail in those stories that they can't just feed you a bunch of BS. Okay. So as the interview goes on, the stories end up getting more and more honest because they just aren't used to this kind of thing. And they can't keep up this facade for so long. Like they don't have the mental bandwidth to just keep coming up with crazy, elaborate lies. Like they just eventually have to start telling like the 99% truth. Okay. You're going to get, once you get good at this, you're going to get some very, very interesting things that come out of people's mouths. Okay. Like I said, though, that does take some practice. Okay. So here's an example question that I like to use for my core value number 1. Tell me a story about a time you had a customer that was asking a lot from you. Okay. Do you see how open that question is? There's no right answer. They cannot answer that question. They have to tell me a story. Okay. As they start to tell me the story, I like almost close my eyes and visualize and build like a movie as they're talking with details. If there's a detail missing, like I don't know where this conversation's happening with this customer, I ask, where do you work at this time? Oh, I work at the car dealership. Cool. Is this conversation happening like outside on the car lot on pavement where it's 92 degrees, or like you guys in the office, right? I want to know those level of details. I wear them out really fast because I ask for details over and over and over and over. Okay. The story that they're going to tell will either be that the customer was persistent or somewhat annoying, and then the applicant went out of their way to do all they could to help them because they wanted to make sure they had a good experience. Okay. Or they did the opposite of that and they did as little as possible to, get the client out the door so they could be done with it. Right. And they'll end with something awkward. Like customers are all crazy. You know what I'm saying? Either way, though, you have your answer to where they're going to fall on core value number 1. And that is the point to the whole thing. Okay. That's worth kind of pausing there on a second, right? So as you're doing an interview, you do not want the interview to go good. You do not. You have no vested interest in a good interview. Okay. You want the person to be the right fit for your business and for your culture. Okay. There's a major distinction between those two things right there. It is human nature for us to sit down in an interview and make sure it goes good or has good conversation because you feel like you're in charge and like you're kind of on display. You're not. You are not. You're a guide, but it's their interview. They're the presenter. We are the judge. All right. You want to make an accurate measurement of their personality, skills, and core values so you can make a good decision on whether or not they fit your company. That point, I just want to make one more time. It's their interview. Don't go out of your way to try and make it smooth. Focus on measuring their skills correctly. Now, fine line. Don't be a dick that ends the interview in 4 minutes because they can't have a conversation. Be a human being while you're doing that, okay? But I've got multiple questions for that core value as well as the other 3 that are deeply important to me, okay? I ask those questions basically until I know the answer, right? Does this person align to that core value or not? And you just continue asking for stories until you can know, right? During the interview, it's your job to listen roughly, in my estimation, about 80% more than you talk. This is because it's their interview. Let them talk. Let them decide whether this goes good or bad, but let them do the talking, okay? That does change at some point near the end of the interview. If they're the right person for the job and you feel strongly they fit the culture, right? And you're essentially leaning into yes of hiring them, it's going to switch. You're going to want to switch it. And now all of a sudden you're going to talk 80% of the time as you explain the company, how the company works, or tell the origin story of how you started the company and explain some things. You're going to tell stories that exemplify your core values. Okay. Basically, once they're good and you feel comfortable hiring them, you start recruiting them. You want them to want to work for you. Okay. You're going to close out the interview not by hiring them, not ever. You're going to close out the interview by telling them you'll be in touch on a specific day. If they haven't heard from you on that specific day, to text you. Okay. What mine usually sounds like is, listen, it's Thursday. We've got a busy weekend with, right, insert number of rentals. The higher the number, right, the more they're going to want to work for you, right? With 24 rentals this weekend, we're going to go drop off a shitload of water slides. Monday is kind of like a cleanup day. It's still kind of crazy. Tuesdays when things normalize, I will contact you by Tuesday. However, if you don't hear from me by Tuesday at 2 p.m., please, please, please text me. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just a busy guy. I got a lot going on. I need you to get in touch with me Tuesday if you haven't heard from me by 2. Got it? Cool. Then you shake hands. Okay. If you hire them on the spot, they know you need, they're entitled because they know you're desperate, and it puts them in a position of power. They don't come to work with the same respect for the business that they would if they sweat a little bit, right? You're playing hard to get. There you go. Boom. Now you found the person that can replace you. There we go. All right. I was seeing the chats go absolutely crazy, much more than normal while I was talking there. So hopefully that was a good one. Hope you guys learned some stuff. But now I would like to kind of debrief. Like, I want to know what kind of questions you guys got. Let's see. Yeah. So what do you guys got? Move this. Drew Johnson's in the house. Good old Star. Yeah, it's star. Situation, task, action, result, right? God, I'm good. I still got it, Drew. I still got it. But yes, a lot of this stuff I learned at my former corporate job, doing the gazillion interviews and just kind of that's where I figured out I had a passion for it, really. All right, so what you guys got? E-Myth Revisited is a great book. It is a great book. David, I am, bro. I am 1 year a millennial. I'm 1 year a millennial. How do you keep your employees alive during the summer? That's a good question from Bruno. You know, that is a good question. I don't have a direct answer to it. I'm not the rah guy. Like, a lot of people think I'm like the rah cheerleader type. I'm so not. I'm bad at telling people good job. I go out of my way to tell people good job because I know I'm bad at it. I don't buy them. I don't buy them much stuff. You know what I mean? Like whenever we have our monthly meetings, I whatever. Sometimes I bring sub sandwiches. Sometimes I bring a freaking sandwich tray, whatever. But like, I don't do much. It really comes down to, oh, okay, I got to go to one actually. So beer. There is beer in the fridge at the warehouse at all times. I make sure it's stocked with Bud Light 24/7, just in case. But no, one of the things that I do is I'm a big fan, and this is kind of like I kind of stole or borrowed from Jocko Willink on this. So he has a whole thing with using the word good. Like, doesn't matter what's going to happen, right? No matter if it's bad, you just say good because you can't control it, and you find the positive in it, and then you go, kind of accomplish the mission. So my kind of version of that in the summer is the guys will text back, what the fuck, dude? It's, 96 degrees. And then humidity has the feels like temperature at 18. I literally will reply, thank God it's not raining. Or no, at least it's not raining. That's what I say. When it's raining and they're getting soaking fucking wet and they text the group chat, they're like, oh my God, it's raining so hard. We're getting absolutely crushed and pissed on. I reply back, at least it's not hot. And so it's become like an inside joke in the company, kind of going back and forth between it's not hot and it's not raining. And it really just kind of takes the ownership of bitching out of the equation, inserts a little bit of comedy, but like, I feel like it kind of brings them back down to back down to life too. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But that's how I keep them alive in the summer. 1 year millennial, depending on the website. So Kevin, the reason that I'm 1 year millennial, I do not remember the podcast because it was a long time ago. But he's the foremost expert on generational with an extra super expert, like silver star badge on millennials. And he actually said a couple things that I thought were interesting. So number one, 1984 is the first year of millennials, right? And there definitely is kind of like you're on the cusp of Gen X and millennial. Okay. So I'm a 1985. Okay. So boom, I'm a millennial by the foremost expert of millennials. The other thing he said that was really interesting was that if you do not remember 9/11, you are not a millennial. That is the defining thing for that generation. So if you remember 9/11, you're a millennial. If you don't, you're not, right? And so then that puts you right at that, like, born in 1990, what? 6, 5? I don't know. Yeah, because you got to be that old to remember that. And that was in 2001, right? Yeah. So, yeah, rough math there. But Freddie's in 85 too. What up, Freddie? 18 to 25 an hour. Okay. So Bruno said, let's see. Let's go backwards because I thought I saw that coming through. Okay. Bruno said paid $500 for the day and they still quit. LOL. And then Mark said that he's going to sell his business and go work for Bruno for $500 a day. I don't blame you, Mark. That's pretty good. That's $500 each. That's a lot, dude. I'm doing okay. So right now you're doing $18 to $25 per hour. And you've got an electric dolly and rollers for easy pickup too. So it's easy. So I mean, to that I say you've got to kind of think backwards to what the culture you have created is and how you created it, and then go back through just everything I just said, right? How did you find them? How did you interview them? Did you interview them? And if not, what is their perception of the company? You could ask yourself the hard question of what's their perception of you, but it comes down to, you know what I mean? You're paying them $500 a freaking day. That's fucking insane. And they're still quitting. Like there's a reason. You know what I mean? What's that reason? I don't know. But if I were to wager to guess, it's somewhere in culture, respect, leadership, I just don't know all the ins and out workings of your business, obviously. But I mean, I'm in Louisiana. I don't know how much pay like minimum wage stuff is in Kansas, but I'm in Louisiana where it's low, right? It's still $7.25. And I mean, $10 an hour is decent here. And I pay 12 for helpers, 18 for drivers. And then I pay $15 per unit to clean. That's in the bounce house business. In the Christmas light business, I do pay a little higher because I got higher margins. And I want more leverage to be a dick, I guess you could say. So I pay $15 an hour. And then the driver, like the leader of the crew, gets $18 an hour. But then I do bump them over 20 once they're fast and efficient. But kind of the reason I'm saying all that is like the money doesn't matter. Like don't get me wrong, they always want more, duh, like we all do. But it's just yeah, you just gotta really think through the culture and really think through the leadership stuff, I think, in that regard. All right, Drew. Old friend Drew Johnson from Journeys. He works in the Journeys home office now, but we worked together for, I mean, I don't know. I worked there for 16 years. He's probably worked there for 20. He said, what's the main reason you went from your corporate gig to being an entrepreneur? Was it pay, or was it that you knew what it had to do? Wait, or was it you knew what it had to do, what you really wanted to do? I love that question. So the main reason I left Journeys was I've always had an entrepreneur bent. I've always wanted to be a business owner, right? Back when I was a kid, us millennials, we're old now. Back when I was a kid, there was like the word entrepreneur wasn't really real. And it actually was, but it like meant you were like a slacker loser that just stayed home and like wasted money on things. Like it was a negative word. But I wanted to be a business owner. So then when I got hired at Journeys, like I got promoted really fast, right? And so I was a store manager at age 19. So as a 19-year-old store manager in 2004, you know, Drew, you remember the company back then. We did almost whatever we wanted. Like I remember when the first binder came of like the visual merchandising guide is what it was called, but it's like, this is how the store's supposed to look. And I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. I do whatever I want. Right. And so in that, like, I was good. I didn't want to be an entrepreneur anymore. I didn't want to own a business anymore. I practically already did. As the company continues to grow and Journeys grew really fast back then, it got too big for its britches. And then the higher ups, you know, kind of reeled it all in by putting in rules and policies and all sorts of different departments and all sorts of crazy shit. Right. So instead of us doing everything and also doing whatever we wanted, like it really kind of put us into a pigeonhole where we had to, like the number of times that I called a motherfucker and told them what was happening, and then they told me to send an email and incident reports, what they're called. The motherfucking number of times that happened drove me nuts every time. I'm like, I don't need to put in an incident report, doc. I just told you, you put in the incident report. It's your department. Like I can't, like I'm getting triggered now. I can't do it. Like I can't do it. I can't follow rules. Not saying my idea is better, but I'm passionate about my idea and I have to do it. And so there actually came to a head where I had a scheduling system that was far from perfect, but was dope. Okay. I couldn't get the company to latch onto it. And what I was told by somebody high up was our scheduling problem is not going to be solved by a district manager making spreadsheets on the weekend. That was the moment where I was like, I'm the fuck out. Okay. And all it happened was it just one little teeny thing triggered in my brain. Click. And it was like, there was no going back. I had taken the red pill. It was over. It was over. No matter how hard I fought against it, like I didn't want it, right? I loved that company. Gave it everything I have. I got a stupid tattoo, like, you know what I'm saying? But at that moment, it was over. Over. And so I started trying to figure out how to start my own businesses. And it got to a point where it's just like, I was working like 70 hours a week, Drew, you know, I was working like 70 hours a week. There was no business you can start working that many hours. Like I would fall asleep on the couch at 7:30 on a Friday, like, because I was so drained from how hard that job was. And so it's kind of like, I got a $32,000 bonus check. And it was like, let's get some shit in line so I can bounce. And then I did. So I got that bonus check in March and I put in my notice in August, right after one of the busy seasons right there when all the kids go back to school. Because I just knew I couldn't breathe anymore. I couldn't breathe anymore. Like I'm a pirate. That's why I put the little pirate flag, right? I'm a pirate that joined this band of pirates. And then over the course of my career with them, they turned into the Navy. And so I'm rowing my pirate oar this way and the rest of the Navy sailing their ship that way. And it was just like, this is not fair to anyone. No matter how hard I try, it keeps going the opposite direction of what I have envisioned that I want this company to be. It's clear that it's not my company. So I got no sense in trying to change it. Right. And so I bounced. That was it. That was it. When it comes to, you know, other pieces of that motivation, it's like, I wanted to make content about all the stuff I taught all day long, but I couldn't because I got into a lot of trouble with that schedule thingy. That's a different story. But I couldn't. I was like being monitored, you know, low key. Not, I don't think I was really being monitored, but like I had to watch what I did on social. So I wanted to start a podcast about all the amazing people that I helped and all the cool stuff. And I knew I couldn't because I was an employee. Like if I want to do that, I had to leave and start my own business. So I did. I replaced my district manager, whatever, wages. You know, I replaced those within about 18 months. Had more or less given myself a raise. And the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? The rest is history. And I'm so happy. I got nothing against, right? I know I'm a mutant. I said that earlier. Like we're mutant. We're entrepreneurs. We're weird. Nobody wants to freaking be the payroll department and like, you know, nobody wants to be the guy, like somebody comes to you like, I want a raise. When you work for a company, like a big company, I want a raise. What do? You say no, but you blame somebody else. I can't because there's a freeze, or I can't because policy, whatever, fucking whatever. Like a million different things. As an entrepreneur, that's it. You're it. You're the top of the roof. I want a raise. You got to look them in the face and tell them, no, they did a bad job. You got to look them in the face and tell them, no, we can't afford it because you're too slow on your route, or you're, or maybe we just spent a whole shitload of money on marketing and I don't have it. You know what I mean? There's a real reason, but like being that is hard, and not a lot of people want to do it. And a lot of people that get into entrepreneurship and fail do so because of that, right? They like, it's all on you. You can't find good people. That's it. Your business just goes out of business. That's it. It's heavy. Like, this is a heavy ass episode, man. Nobody's talking. You guys are all chatting though. I can't read the chats very fast.
Nick, in your hiring interview or questions, do you ever stress the point of hygiene to the people are applying or wanting to work with you or are working with you?
Yeah. So as in, I tell them that it's important, or I judge them harshly on it.
Well, that's something that's extremely huge to me. I really got 4 things that, one, if I can't stand it, the customer can't stand it. That's the way I look at it. If you come to work without brushing your teeth and your breath smells like the sewer, if I can't stand it, that customer you're talking to don't need to stand it either. If you're not smart enough to put deodorant on and you start stinking by 2 hours into the job, I can't take it. The customer don't need to take it. If you can't brush your hair or put on a clean pair of shorts, not the same ones you wore yesterday, to come to work, that all those 4 things are a no to me. It's an irresponsible employee. What does it take to brush your teeth? What does it take to rinse your mouth out with mouthwash? What does it take to wet your hair down? What does it take to put a clean pair of shorts on? I don't expect people to have brand new clothes, but if you're going to wear shorts or shoes that's got holes in them, that's not representing my company. So I require that tremendously. If I lined up probably 4 or 5 people that's worked with me, there's been times that I've smelt their breath and pulled right into a CVC, give them $20 and tell them go get a toothbrush and toothpaste and don't come out until you're done. I mean, I just, I used to carry deodorant around, a stick. If I knew somebody didn't have it, I'd go give them a handful of baby wipes, tell them to wash their armpits, put deodorant on, because if I can't take it, I feel like they're disrespecting my company by being like that in front of customers. So that's one of the things that I think I stress that more when I'm interviewing someone than pretty much anything else. Really, that comes before being on time. I mean, you can be on time, but if you don't take the time to get yourself ready and prepared to represent the company you're working for and be presentable in front of a customer, then I would rather you be 10 minutes late to make sure you get that done. So I put that in front of, I mean, it's just, that's my pet peeve. It's always been that way. Maybe other people don't mind it, but I think that's a huge thing that should be in an interview conversation is hygiene.
Yeah,
Without
it's
a question of a doubt, especially with these young kids, because a lot of them will go out till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, get 3 hours sleep, and come into work. And that definitely is some sewer rat breath right there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I just didn't hear you talk about anything like that. So that's why, I brought it up, because that's something that I do.
Yeah. That's it's interesting. I tackled that a really long time ago in my corporate job, kind of a unique way, because it was just like, I can't, my personality, I'm assertive, right? I have no problem with confrontation, but I like to think big picture so much that if I have to have those conversations with an employee, it wears me out instantaneous. Like I got no patience for it. And so I'm gonna do, and it's actually on my board to do a little bit better job of this year, of stressing the importance of, right, because I buy the shirts for the guys, like all their shirts are free. So I'm gonna stress the importance of dress code a little more, just because I want to make the expectation clear. But my guys historically do a pretty good job of that, just because I think it goes back to, one, I'm too picky of a hire. I was understaffed a lot of my life as a young manager, because I didn't want to hire anybody. I just didn't trust them with my customers, like, just being flat out with you. Like, I was just hard on it, right? And then kind of forward, like, the culture that I try to build, like, see, and that's what I mean. Like, I'm just so much more, I'm just so, not much more, but I'm just big picture, to where it's like, I'd rather focus on big things and have those little things hopefully iron themselves out. But you make a perfect point. I think it's a perfect point, where it's got to be addressed, whether you do it indirectly the way I do, or you do it directly the way you do. If you've got if you've got guys that are looking trashy and smelling trashy doing your work for you, your customers are just not gonna respond positively, right? I think it's a good call out for sure. Yeah, Adam said, so in the comments, Adam said, unfortunately, a lot of people don't seem to even know how to show up for an interview, or they were raised a way that wasn't, where it wasn't important. Yeah, so that's kind of what I said. Like, if I can get the phone number from somebody that I know, have a text message conversation with that person and set up an interview. I've only had one of those not show up. I've literally never had a Facebook applicant ever show up. Not once. Not once. That being said, I'm a big fan of that's why I like to set, like, when I was in the corporate world, I had a whole bunch of people, like, directly working with me all the time, right? So I never did first interviews. Like, somebody else did first interviews, and they're like, yeah, they were okay. Cool. Somebody else is gonna do the second interview, right? Let me get the cream of the crop. So that's why, if you've got a situation where you think somebody's not going to show up, set them up an interview with somebody else where that other person's already working. Like, right, if I got to leave my office, right, so my warehouse, I sublet my warehouse from somebody who has the office. So my office is just in my house. Like, I'm in my house right now. So if I got to leave my house to go to a coffee shop to do an interview and they don't show up, I mean, it's a waste of at least an hour, right? 45 minutes to an hour. It's like, that's brutal. However, if I just know, like, let's just say, Isaiah is going to be up at the warehouse on Thursday cleaning the last two combos from last weekend, and he's going to get there at 1. Cool. Set up the interview for 2:30, right? That guy can go there while he's cleaning slides, and he can turn the blower off and talk to him for 15 minutes. Or they finish a route, right? Just set yourself up something to where, if they don't show up, it's not so detrimental to your freaking day. It'll it'll make your hiring better, but B, it'll help not make you so cynical. Yeah, I mean, yeah, your topic's going crazy, Mark. Everybody's chiming in. It is, a lot of, I love younger workers. Like, I've always had a thing for hiring younger workers. Like, I just always have. Like, doesn't matter how old I get, like, I kind of keeps hiring the same age group, right? And a lot of times, like, they don't know. They literally don't know, because think about, and I kind of think of how healthy the economy has been up until this point, right? For the last, since what, 2009? So 13 years. All these businesses exploded. Like Chick-fil-A nobody cared about Chick-fil-A my entire life. And then all of a sudden they started saying my pleasure, and it like went viral. And now it's the biggest freaking restaurant on earth, right? But there's like 9 trillion people that work at Chick-fil-A now. And so if they ever worked at Chick-fil-A, there's no way they got any one-on-one coaching ever. It's just stressed out managers running around like giving people like demerits or whatever on their boards. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a machine. It's not, there's no humanness to it. Right. So they come start working for you. Like, we're small business owners. Like, right. I'm staffed more than most people that I talk to, and I have 7 guys. And it's like, so they may just not know that is important. And then so the way Mark handles it, I think, is brilliant, right? Where it's not a shame game. He doesn't send them home and make them feel bad. Like, let's handle it right there in the moment, in that situation. Let's handle it. But what Mark's doing really is, that's a teaching moment, and it's handled in a way where that employee now knows it's important to brush their teeth, to make sure that they've, take a shower, they've got some cologne on, they're well put together, right? It's a teaching moment, and so we can all sit here and roll our eyes that people just don't get it, but it's like, a lot of times you got to teach them how to get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, some spray deodorant. Freddie said spray deodorant. That's good. Nice. And that's hygienic too, right? You're not sharing. All right, Justin asked a good one. What's everyone's drug policy? So, not to trigger anyone here. I don't really no, I guess I take that back. I have one. It's not like it's probably not going to happen super soon this year, but I want to get like, like a freaking handbook, like in writing, like what the drug policy is. But basically I just tell them that don't be showing up to my job site, under the influence, jacking things up. Like, I don't want you showing up drunk, high, or anything in between, to where you can't operate, right? And especially true with the ones driving. From there, it's kind of grain of salt. I really don't care what you do when you go home. Now, that's right. If I've got one of my guys going home, smoking meth, okay, I do care, because I don't want my guy, like, I like my guys and I don't want them doing hard drugs. But right, it's kind of one of those things where, as a small business, you get the leeway to be ahead of the curve, right, not behind it. And so, yeah, it's just kind of like, as long as I've got right, and I'm good with people, so I'll know. But like, as long as I don't know, I'm good. But I do have tobacco policy. Like, I don't, don't chew and smoke any cigarettes in any situation where you're on a client's on a client's property, or really like within eye shot of anywhere. Like, you don't be spitting tobacco on their driveway, and don't be smoking cigarettes. Now, a hangover is a different story. Like, if you show up hungover, you're expected to work harder. But if you do, I'm happy. Like, let's go.
What's everybody's kill count right now? I think I'm on drink number 4. I'm flying through these drinks right now, man.
That's because you haven't been on in a while. Your body's like subconsciously telling you.
I was thinking about it. I was like, man, it's been a while.
I'm on 2 of the stream.
The mic is new. It's been that long. So whenever you got your mic, it's at least been that long.
I've had it a while, but I always had it like right here, right above the camera.
Oh, hidden.
Pointing at me. And then I was listening to one of the shows. I don't remember why, but sometimes I'll put them on in the background while I'm working, just to like hear myself talk, so I can kind of like that sounded bad. Yes, but just so I can like hear the show, to kind of like, what does it sound like? What did I say? Did I handle You know, it's like when you're live, it's kind of weird because you got to handle everything in the minute.
It is.
And then, yeah. And so anyways, I was listening to one, I'm like, you guys sound good. And then I'm all echoey. And so I was like, and I'd put the microphone back there because it's like I only use this microphone basically every Wednesday night. And then every now and then I'll do a YouTube interview, but those are right, I don't, one a month or something. And so like I didn't want to have to like move it and do all this stuff. But then like this show's gotten pretty big and pretty consistent and people like it. So I'm like, well, I guess it's, we'll move it and do the
Speaking of
inconvenience.
show,
Yeah.
how
So
did the TV show thing go?
it went good, dude. It
I
went
didn't
really
hear
good.
anything.
Yeah, it went really good. I did not win. I did not win anything.
Prejudice.
Basically on the way the show works is you have a classroom setting where you learn an entrepreneurial topic for 2 hours. And it's legit. Like it's super, 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 super amazing stuff. Then you break for lunch. Then you are given a what do they call those? Like a challenge or whatever. I don't remember what it's called, but you have 15 minutes to write a 3-minute speech about, and you got to hit these 5 subject matters, these 5 topics about what we just learned in the classroom. Then you break into groups of 10, small groups of 10. And in that group of 10, you go down the list and you got to give your pitch, your 3-minute pitch. Those are then graded best to worst, best on a strict rubric, best getting 9 points, second best getting 8, all the way down. The worst one gets 0 points. You then go through the room again and do one-on-one consultations with the judge/coach for 15 minutes. For 15 minutes. Those,
man, I'm not gonna lie, that show sounds like a day job.
Oh, it was intense, dude.
That was like a corporate job. It's structured for real.
Yeah. And so then in your 15-minute consultation with the judges, there's 3 people out of 10 that are awarded 3 points. That's it. Right? There's no ranks. There's no nothing. It's just 3 people get 3 bonus points. So then whoever scores the highest out of each room is then announced to be the winner to come down on stage and do basically the same thing, but a different assignment live in the moment in front of 80 people. And then they're judged on a strict rubric and one person wins that show. And all those people get X number of points. Then there's a point scoreboard that goes on the entire week. That all made sense?
No.
That was crazy.
Okay, so day one, I took second place in my group by 1 point. Day 2, I tied for first place in my group and lost on the tiebreaker of is it fun and engaging? I wasn't fun or engaging, apparently, or somebody else was more fun and more engaging than me. Day 3, I was so fucking mad I didn't win that I never, ever, like, after I didn't win day 1 and day 2, like, I go find the coaches, especially after hours when there's some drinks flowing, and I get the information out of them, right? Day 3, I was so fucking pissed I didn't win. Like 6 of the 9 people in my group told me that I won it. 6, the girl that won didn't tell me that she thought I won. And there one other random girl did. Every other person was like, you got it in the bag, bro. Get ready for your fucking speech tonight. Then I didn't win. I was so fucking mad. I never went to find out. I don't know any facts of that third. Okay.
Rage quit.
Day 4, I fucked it up. Okay. I don't know where I placed because I fucked up my pitch and I knew I did it in the moment. I knew exactly when I did it. Day 5, I lost in my room by 1 point again. So essentially, probably definitely 3 of the 5 days, but probably 4 of the 5 days, I came in second place by a fucking point. I was in the threat, on the scoreboard. Like when the show comes out, they'll show the top 10, and I think I'm in the top 10 because I'm ranking high in the rooms. I don't know, dude. Yeah, and I was very pissed. Like I was very pissed just because I'm competitive. That being said, the amount of stuff I learned and the value of what I learned is irreplaceable, absolutely incredible. And spending a week around 80 other entrepreneurs, like that's everybody in the room, that's what they are, right? Is so incredible. Like there's an awkward phase of like, right, the first day and a half is awkward phase. After that, it's like you just go sit down and eat lunch next to somebody you've never talked to, and you're in a business conversation that fast, right? Whether you're getting advice or giving advice or bouncing ideas, like it was amazing. Like I was home, like for sure. I felt like I was home. It was an incredible experience. And much booze was drank. Much booze was drank.
Kind of like what we're doing now, just remote.
Remote, very remote. Somebody asked Jessica, I'm gonna jack your last name up. I'm gonna do it anyway. Ganmi Eisenhut. Jessica asked off subject, where do you get your tank tops made? I just Googled a place that was no, I take that back. My entrepreneur friend Angela, I asked her where she got her shirts made, and she told me. So I went there. And they do like, oh, this one's okay. I put this one on purpose because it's white. A lot of these are freaking pink, dude. Not stoked with the quality, but they're like $9 a shirt, something like that. Like you get what you pay for, you know?
So what he meant to say was find someone local.
Yeah.
Support
Just Google
local small business.
Just Google. Yeah. And you got to make, yeah. Okay. So I'll give some real advice. That was kind of shitty advice. You got to make a batch, generally speaking, a batch of 12. There's a setup fee to make your screen, right? So you send them your logo, right? And then they make the screen. So then they can start making the shirts. That's usually $50, right? So you're $50. Then you got to order 12, which, right, if you're doing t-shirts and they're $10 a pop, right? $120.
It usually depends on what you call it, like the machine, and like how much. Like most of the time, they want to max out their machine, so their machine does 20. They want to do 20, or the most. Like I think, yeah, it's like that's usually what it is, depending on what company you do. And there's like so many different types of stuff. I do embroidery; it costs more, but the shirts are great. But you don't want to do it on stuff that's going to get stained or anything like that. But honestly, like, I got those printed shirts. I'm going to be releasing a video soon. I have one of them on, and I don't know if you see me with the ones that Jana recommended. This dude Sultan from, I got him getting the shirts for less than I think they're around like $9 a piece, and they're fully printed like everywhere.
The ones that you have, they're like tie-dye blue and red. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, the red, white, and blue, but like tie-dye, and the ones that I have that's like crazy colors and stuff too. I got like
those
two
are
versions.
$9 a piece, dude. Those are
$9 a piece, dude. They're freaking fully imprinted too, so you can do all that. And I don't know what the price is from Design Factory, but I know he's printing those now too. But I can give you the guy from, you know what I mean? I spent like I want to say like $1,000, and I got like freaking. I can't remember how many shirts. It was like at least over 100 shirts.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, like what I did was like I had it's like a local hardware store that's like right down the street from me, called Pennington's. So I had Pennington's make like order 12, right? Like get me 12 dry fit shirts. And then I'm like, all right, these are fine enough, right? So then I ordered like whatever, 30 or 50 or whatever, probably not 50. And tank tops and try some long sleeves, whatever. And the quality was going well, right? So I ordered a whole bunch. Then they got crushed. They got absolutely flooded with like 6 feet of water for Hurricane Ida, and ruined all their stuff. Like they had to get all new stuff. Since then, the quality has not been the same. They're very nice people, but it's kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna go find somewhere else to make my shirts.
Dude, you know what's really cool? Do you got like I don't know how big this brand is everywhere else, but do you guys like, is Carhartt big by everybody? This is big up here up north. Yeah. So if you go, like, you can get discount for work gear through Carhartt at work, and then like they perfectly allow you to keep the logo on and then go get your logo and stitch it on it too. So I'm getting actually like, and their rain gears and the rain gear, winter gear, work gear, it's freaking phenomenal. So I'm gonna they have thick and light stuff too. But so depending on where you're at, but yeah, I'm grabbing rain jackets for my guys this year for this spring for my two guys that are my main guys and stuff like that, because they always are big on wearing them and stuff like that. So I'm gonna get them one with my logo, the logo on it. You know what I mean? Brand those fuckers.
Yeah, because I have I think my rain jacket I have is a North Face rain jacket. I don't remember exactly. It might be Patagonia, but it's like it's the most rainproof thing that's ever existed known to man. And I have it, so it's in my truck at all times, right? And so when it starts raining, like I put it on and they're like fucking getting soaked. I'm like, guys, how many fucking times I told you, like that jacket was like $120, but I'm like, dude, it has paid for itself to 100,000, 50 billion times over because it rains here every day and they're just getting soaked. So I want to get them rain jackets. I definitely don't want to spend 100 freaking bucks a jacket. But wait, what do those Carhartt ones cost? Because Carhartt's good shit. You might be muted, not paying attention.
No, I'm here.
Oh yeah. What do those Carhartt rain jackets cost? Like they're waterproof rain jackets also?
I want to say they're around like 70, 80 bucks, man. They have thin ones and thick ones. The thick ones are like 100, but then the thin ones are like 80 bucks. The ones,
That's
you know
not
what I mean?
bad.
That's the one. And honestly, it gets rainy at the beginning of the season and at the end of the season. And like the beginning of the season, it's not as chilly. The end of the season, it might be a little bit chilly, but they'll end up wearing a hoodie or something. And if you throw that rain jacket over it, you're fine. So I'm just getting them the thin ones. Me, I'm a little bit of a huskier guy. I like the thick one. I like the thick one, like whenever I use both, and I got money, so I just bought both. But if I'm buying it for my guys, I'm I'm buying
Use me, Mr. I
I'm
got
buying the
money.
thin one. Yeah, there's money.
Listen to him. I got money.
I got money. I got like $2. I can rub it together.
Yes. Yeah, I want to get
I think I got like $4 or $5.
Yeah, I want to get the guys some good stuff to help them out this summer because it's so freaking hot and rainy and muggy here that it's like, right, and right, they do a really freaking good job. So I want to get some stuff to help them out this year for sure.
So Nick, what's your goal this year with your business? Just jump off, not the Christmas. What's 2023 goal?
Like in general goal, like altruistic goal,
something achievable, something you can go and get,
or like the dollars.
Dollar amount. I was thinking I want mine to be passive by year 3, so this would be year 2 for me.
Passive by the year 3. Yeah, that's so I don't want it to be all the way passive. I love operating a little too much probably, but I just love operating too much, right? But I do, like, I've got it set now to where 99% of the drop-offs and pickups can happen without me. The 1% is going to be, the school that has 2 obstacle courses in the gymnasium, like that happened last year, or the school that has 2 water slides and a foam party, like those, like, let's go to those and make sure those go right. What, you know what I mean? The rest of everything else can happen pretty much without me. That being said, I realized this going to the blocks, the TV show, the blocks, the bottleneck in the jump off is Nick. So, and it's just kind of, I think it's just based on how I built the company. Yeah. Like, I think it's just how I built the company. You know what I mean? Like, I got into this industry knowing nothing at all and made it up. Like, I just made all the stuff I do, I just kind of made up. Right. And I would check with like anchors and that kind of stuff, like that was important. Like I would try and find some information, but like, I just made everything up. Right. So where as it starts to scale, and it ended up scaling really fast once it got to a certain point, right? Like I had 2 employees out doing pickups by themselves, and then I'd run a truck by myself, and it was like they would dink some stuff up, but it's like no big deal, like I'm there. Then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, and I'm not, right? Or I didn't need to be. But the phone rings too much because my guys have kind of a judgment call to make where it's like they either guess or they call me because they don't know the little teeny tiny stuff. And so
that's what I was gonna ask.
So this year,
I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm gonna tease this. Hold on. And this one is like kind of not great. But the
patent pending.
yeah, the overall theme is there, right? So basically what this is, and yes, these will be for sale at some point in time. But so this is a steak bag. Oh, I'm too close. So it's a steak bag, okay? Up here you write the name of the unit, right? All your anchors go in here and your tarp stakes go in here. And then on the back, this is something different. On the back, this goes on one lashing strap, and down here at the bottom, it goes on the other lashing strap. So it's if the unit's standing up, right, it's strapped to the unit like that. And the name is freaking on it, right? So it says, whatever, 22-foot dual lane, purple hurricane, and everything's inside of that. Okay. Then this little thing is kind of like an accessory for this. It'll come with this, but this is to do the exact same thing with you. Yeah, this is the exact same thing with your extension cord, right? So I do my extension cord,
Yeah,
my figure 8. This will go on the extension cord.
I'll take 20.
Go right around that. Go right on the thing.
Dude, I love this, dude. I was actually like, this is very systematic where you can keep everything together. I really like this.
Yep.
I was
So,
gonna say we need extension cord on there. Perfect. You brought it up.
boom.
Now, how do I attach my blower?
Yeah, the blower and the tarp. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to solve the blower issue. I'm still working on some different ideas for the tarp. I got it's probably not gonna happen this week.
I stick them in the warehouse, and then I like having my own rack. I would just label those freaking bags with the blower shit you need, and keep those as versatile, because it's in all reality that's all you need. But it's just your biggest problem. It's not even your problem. Like, you made a system that's actually great. But like, the biggest problem is the day-to-day practices and getting those procedures to make all these freaking kids make sure that they're putting them together. But I honestly, there's nothing stopping you from just leaving that bag underneath the freaking unit as well.
Yeah. So
You know what I mean?
so
At the job, so it could be very. I really actually like this a lot.
yeah. So basically, what we're gonna do is when you get there to set up, right, you're gonna take your lashing straps off. So all that stuff will obviously, just kind of fall off. Then you'll put your anchors and everything, and then lashing straps. We usually ball them up, or like kind of like.
You should make it so they're already attached to that thing.
I've thought about it. I just it's kind of one of those things where it's like it needs working. So I have 2 of them made. The other one I have made is way better, way nicer. I made the whole thing myself. That I repurposed a steak bag for that. But we'll have both of these out this weekend to test. To see kind of what goes on. But yeah, so all that's going to stay. Lashing straps, bag, and the little extension cord thing will all stay at the rental. And so that way, different crew goes to pick it up. Boop, all goes back together.
Exactly.
Yep. And so then
you don't want
everything
to mix and match those bags and units, though. That's where it gets annoying. Like, it's one of the same reasons nobody puts units back in the bag. One, it's more time. This, I don't. Like, if it was attached, I think you should try and do it where right towards the end, like, some of the buckles come up. So, you know what I mean? So what you're doing is you're basically, you're setting the strap the same way you would any other way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just have the buckles kind of like maybe like within a foot of that actual contraption right there.
And have that sewn on to the straps?
I would have it just, instead of the loops where you're putting it through, have like a foot where the ring side come out. This way you can freaking, you know what I mean, put the other side is just all strap, and you just tighten it right there. So now basically if you're pushing the unit over, you always want those rings exposed anyways, because that's where you know what I mean. So you're never gonna push it where you'll have a marker almost. You'll never push it over, so you're burying your freaking stakes. So you'll always, as long as you're having, so your stakes are showing, you'll always have access to that strap too, and it's not moving at all. And you just leave it under the thing, and it'll never like start getting lost or switched around. Because as long as like my straps all have the names just written right on it. It's just right. I'm not trying to not knock your product or anything. I just buy regular straps, and it just freaking, you know what I mean? Just write the name right on the straps. But like, I would buy all these for every unit I have, just because of the stake stuff. And then my whole thing though is I buy those thick fucking Hogan steak ones, like, or not, they're those huge fat ones. I don't know if those, like, I would almost get like a bigger bag.
Yeah, that this bag is the size of what I think most of them will be, and this will fit, like the anchors we use will fit well. But yeah, if you're using 1-inch anchors, like 4 1-inch anchors would fit in this, I think.
Yeah, but like when I use like
water
8
slide
or 10 for a water slide, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, might be sketchy, but I
I
mean,
would think
yeah,
maybe do a bigger version of it too.
yeah. It's pretty easy to do a bigger version.
We're in
Hopefully-
prototype mode, but I'm just giving you my free advice.
No, I love it, dude. I love it. Yeah, hopefully,
dude, I think you're onto something. I really like this.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. Yeah, it's I'm excited for it because that way there's like I don't mean this in a bad way. I mean it in a good way, but like remove the need to think, right? Like it came from reading the book called The E-Myth, right? And he talks about basically making your business franchisable. And I'm like reading the book, I'm like, fuck, this is all like the loose desires that I had that weren't like ideated, like they weren't like something I could go do. And I'm reading this book, I'm like, yep, dude, yep, absolutely. And so like that was the first idea that popped in my head. I'm like, I gotta have a way to where it's just like, yeah. And so what we're gonna do, I think, is just write the blower on it, whether we write 1 horsepower or whatever, we'll just write the blower on it. And probably the tarp too, because we tag our tarps. But that being said, I'd like to figure out the way to freaking attach the tarp with it. I'm just worried about the tarp getting super right, because we tarp under the whole entire unit because it's so muddy in Louisiana and nasty. And so you've got a big drippy tarp that's going to be on it. And so I'm low-key worried about that like flooding. But I know that that's not the norm. Like most people don't do like what we do. So well, I'm stoked that got good feedback. That was pretty cool.
Nick, I'm looking at that bag and I'm seeing time like cut, like so much time savings. Oh my God.
You got to figure out how you can get like mass produced, like jump off like logos or something that you can stitch into all these bags.
Like, hold on.
Oh, like, huh? Like what?
Like these?
Yes.
That's,
yes.
I think that's 1,000. Yeah, that's 1,000. That's only half the order.
That's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, my sewing machine is not great for vinyl, so I've already got some moves I've made in that department too, so they can be sewn by a proper inflatable sewer. But
so I got I got the resource center has online payments. I got put onto it today. So
have you launched that yet?
All the vendors in there, huh? No, so I'm not going to be able to launch it to the public, to all the other people watching this technically, for a little bit. And the reason I'm holding, like, it's capable for you guys to be in there, but I really want to get all the vendors to get all their information, build up the platform a little bit before we actually launch. So it looks really like pleasing and usable. And there's a bunch of information already in there ready to go. And then you can watch it expand from there. So there's going to be a gap from when it's like, so technically, yeah, you guys could all go onto it, but no, I'm only doing the vendors. And that's like, I mean, we could talk later. I'll get you your profile, but you'll be able to have all these items that you have like for sale for yourself on there and directly linked to all those different products and etc. Reviews and all that crazy stuff. Like,
cool.
And then version 2 will come out later with a bunch of even more tools like picture sharing and weird stuff like that, and etc. But actual resource for the industry is coming. But yeah, I'm reaching out to all the different people and stuff. So yeah, I am pumped for the resource center.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. That's cool. I'm excited to see, kind of like when we talked, I was like, once you launch, I'm excited to see the direction it goes, because a platform like that, kind of gets a mind of its own. I think it's going to be really cool.
The thing, it is actually 100% community driven though. Like, and that's what I was talking about before too. Like,
oh, Justin,
what's up?
I think you got a fire starting over there.
No, it's freaking already lit. It wasn't starting.
Oh boy, you burning trees. Going. That's a no.
You guys can all get drunk, but I can't smoke a little pot.
Yeah, that's funny. He's smoking. I got
that. Doesn't look like a little pot.
Well, it's only a little.
Yeah.
But no, seriously.
So
I'm actually trying to rebrand myself and take myself away from PRK directly and make PRK like more of ARA, IAPA combined type thing. Like IAPA, and IAPA is just like his big league entertainment. I'm more like focused on backyard entertainers and like you know what I mean, like more of the entertainment side and less of the just you know what I mean, giant rides and amusement parks. Like mainly focused to the people that are like in this on this podcast right now and in the Facebook groups.
Right.
And that's what the platform is built for as well. So I can't have myself PRK started as a brand that was just about me, but in reality, it's grown to be a lot more about the industry than about myself. So I'm just gonna you're Nick Glassett, and then you do the jump off. You know what I mean? But like the jump off eventually could have a million different people working for it, and you're talking about finding somebody. Like this whole thing is about finding somebody that can represent you. I can only represent myself when it comes to Justin Ferraccio and my personal brand, and PRK is represented by people like you, everybody, Mark here, all kinds of different people, and that's the direction that I've actually taken the channel and stuff too. So it's nice to hear this stuff. Like I was talking, like I told you when I commented on your thing. Like this goes to I don't know if you guys listen to the Les Friedman podcast. Joe Rogan interviews him a bunch, but he did an interview with Mr. Beast, and you should watch that if you have a YouTube channel, because they started talking about analytics and how to grow and all kinds of wild stuff when it comes to online entertainment. But we also was getting into business stuff, like Mr. Beast basically can do whatever he wants. He has $1 billion business, and he has somebody that he literally had on his hip for 9 months before he started letting him do more things, and he just paid his salary for 9 months and just had him sit there and watch him do business so that he could think like he thinks. It's mind-boggling, but like this whole thing's about talking about how to clone you and yourself and get yourself to run a business, and basically you just have to have somebody watch how you do business, and they have to have that same mentality as you, and you want to make sure that they don't have those faults. And that's one thing. I'll take this back to PRK. I have faults. Everybody knows I have faults, and that's why I don't want to be making decisions when it comes to PRK. I want to bring it to a board. And I would have, it's without a doubt that I'm going to mention that I want Nick Glassett to be on the board of PRK, Adam to be on the board. I've been talking about Mark, because Mark, you're here too. We've talked a little bit about possibly working and growing PRK, and you want to be on it. You have your own opinions and whatnot. We need to talk more about that. But yeah,
you need me on the board.
It can't be manufacturers, I feel.
Yeah, So that Lex Friedman podcast, so I listened to it. One of my good buddies listens to Lex Friedman all the time, and he was telling me about that podcast. Bro, I literally was taking notes, driving down the interstate, taking notes in my journal, because I'm like,
Mr. Beast one?
Yes. I was like,
bro, I was like, because he's like, dude, you're freaking me out. Like, nobody's going to listen to this stuff. Who actually cares? And I'm just like, I care. I care. Like, I am so hyped right now. Like, you're asking the perfect questions. Like, Lex Friedman, and he does this with all his, he's so humble too. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know my fans. I'm like, you fucking liar. Like, you know exactly, there's some people that are freaking out right now because you just asked questions that no other influencers ever asked this man, and got really to the brass tacks, because he has a 3 million person channel too. So he has some the serious hitting questions.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of where it's so back in my corporate world, I feel like I've been talking about corporate life way too much today. But I would do that where it was I'd have somebody that wanted to be a district manager, so I'd start training them, and then as long as they can cut the mustard and they have what it takes, I then start offloading some of my work to them to offload some work so I can go work on bigger projects, but also to get them involved in, what it's like to have my job. So to make sure that they want it and to train them for it. And so when he started talking about that, I was like, right. And I was in a corporate setting where it's they couldn't just follow me around, but I was like, dude, I literally have written in my journal that's the plan. That's what I want to do, is just be have them be basically shadowing me in Event Hawk chats, shadowing me in, inflatable office, shadowing me for processing payroll, like all the boring shit. And then once the
Zooms.
Yeah. And then once the boring shit's out of the way, then we start to do the fun shit. You know what I mean? To where then essentially, like, I mean, we're from the West Coast, right? I'm from Utah by way of California, but my wife is born and raised in California. We're going back there eventually. Now, we don't plan on it being anytime soon, but I'm not taking the jump off with me. It's staying here because it's established, dude. Now, do I open another one when I move? Whole different fucking conversation because I don't know when I'm going to move, right? But I'm like, I've got to A, have a person that can run the entire business when I do leave. B, I need to start working now on how the fuck I train that person versus wing it. You know what I mean? When that moment comes, and it could come at any time, but it looks like it's 10 years down the line. So I'm like, so that's kind of where it's like, I wanted to have tonight's talk about the hiring piece and the interviewing piece, but then I was like, dude, I want to tack on the other one for next week, and that's literally going to be the entire topic of it. Like, if you do want it to go passive, how do you make it go passive through having one person take over?
Have you brought up like hiring fast and firing fast at all? I know I missed like the beginning of like 20 minutes, but did you, like, I know you're a fan of Gary Vee, so how do you feel about
I didn't. So I'm trying, like, I went back and listened to the older ones of these, and I'm like, dude, I do this with everything that I do, but like I go too in depth and it's too fucking heavy. I'm trying to make them lighter, and not that tonight's ended up very light, right? But it's like I could literally just turn the camera on and talk with nobody in the Zoom room for 2 hours on this. And so I tried not to do that. But when it comes to hire fast, fire fast, I actually am opposite on both. I hire slow as fuck. I want as many interviews as I can get. I want as many opinions as I can get. Right. And as an entrepreneur with a small business, I don't get that many, but
because you're catching 20 minutes.
But I like to know exactly what's going on before I hire the person. You know what I mean? And then firing the same way. Now, if you do something that's immoral, where I think you're a crooked person, crooked might be the wrong word there, but yeah, you're fired. Like it's done, it's over. Like, right. There is some non-negotiable things that you could do that would get you fired instantaneously, but I'm a coach, man. I like to help people. So it's like, I'm going to try and figure also too. It's like, I fucking hired him. Like I hired him. That's my bad. Let me go in and kind of dive in and see if I can help him. Now, caveat to all that. There's been multiple people, and I don't listen to a lot of content, but there's been multiple people recently that were like, no. I just fucking fire him, but just keep paying him for 3 months. Like, just make it easy for me to do, so it's easy for them to get the fuck out. They want out because they're gonna get paid for 3 months, and then we're just good, and I can just fix the problem. I'm like,
some people even find them better jobs though, and find a better. So this is my opinion on people. Like so I agree with what you're saying. I think, like, I listen to a lot of Gary Vee, and he goes into more context about this stuff too. Like, first of all, like, I want to hire somebody for the position. I need to get those positions filled. I'm not going to fucking get in my head about filling those positions. There needs to be a body in those positions. And then and especially in a new position, then you start figuring out, okay, is this person really right for that position? Do I have another part? And if they're not right for that position, just get them the fuck out. Don't fuck around. Like, just get them out. But do you get them and put them into another part of your company? I always try that first if I have room. We all have like 8 employees, maybe less. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like there's not any places in the company unless they have a way to create their own lane and etc. So this is the problem where we actually have to just find them a new job. Or like some people take the approach of just giving them a severance. You know what I mean? There's always that, but like, if you know this person like isn't capable of doing something, like there's somebody in my company that like I basically want to move to another position. Like it's not something that sorry, somebody just walked up and distracted the hell out of me. So no, it's not. It's basically you don't want to like get rid of them. If I got rid of him, he's not supposed to be he's not like he can do the job of driver and stuff, but he hates it. That's not his passion. If I can have him as my warehouse manager, he'd be perfect for that. So I'm building my company up to be able to be at that point, but I'm not at that point where I can have a full-time warehouse manager. He has to sit in the truck, and he understands that, but he doesn't like that. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So I'm not going to just fire him, but and he's done some things that I've honestly wanted to fucking fire him like this year. So like it's. Sorry, you're like choppy. What did the guy say?
Yeah, Freddie, you're a robot right now. Man.
Why are you guys giving severance pay?
I'm not offering severance pay.
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't yet. But kind of the theory is that right, and this only works if you have plenty of money, right, in the company. But the idea is that if you can just fire the person, but pay them for whatever 3 months, right? It's an arbitrary number, but pay them for 3 months, and just to get them out, right? Just so you'll do it, so they're not on your payroll for 3 more months doing a shitty job, and then you just go to them, you're like, hey, bro. I want to say like this ain't working out, so we're just gonna part ways, but I'm just gonna pay you for 3 more months. Like so, like we're done here.
But
like you're
what's
separated.
The point? What's the point of paying them versus just telling them to kick rocks?
Just because if your personality isn't, it's just if your personality isn't a personality that's comfortable making that move that quickly or that abruptly, sorry, wrong word, assertively with that person, it makes the person that doesn't want to fire more comfortable with firing so you can run the company more efficiently.
This is also used in a lot of positions. Like that move is done in companies where like those positions are very important. It's just large sums of money. Like you can literally be changing people's lives. In certain rules of court, you can actually be liable for change of life, and you'd be paying them unemployment anyways. It's just, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, they can probably get more out of unemployment if you would have just paid them 3 months and kept it on good terms and kept your name good, basically. And in reality, those are the situations where it's like you're not trying to screw that person over. You may have eaten dinner with this person's family, like, and they've been like helped grow your business for 3 years or something. Like, honestly, if I would probably do something like that. That same dude that I told you, he's pissing me off. Like,
so you're mixing pleasure with business.
Are you?
Yeah, if you're sitting down with somebody's family eating dinner, and you can't separate business and pleasure, and that employee doesn't understand, then that's their problem.
It's just morals and stuff like that. Like you don't have to give your person, you don't have to pay for holidays. You don't have to give bonuses, all that stuff. But people do.
I didn't start this business to become friends.
Okay, what I'm trying to say to you is there's a company morale. So now I have 7 other people. Then I just got rid of this dude that's been working with me and built my business from the ground up, and I just got rid of him with nothing. You don't think they all realize that? Yeah, and it's all personal choices. So like, you know what I mean? You can give your guys holiday bonuses. You're not required to do that by the state. Like, you don't have to give your guys Christmas bonuses. You're not required to do any of that. Like, you know what I mean? You're required to pay time and a half. That's about it. If it's overtime, like you're not required to be any nice boss. But
everything you're saying is all business.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like eating it with somebody's family goes into a part of that. That's definitely part of business. Like at the end of the day, like you want to be able to be comfortable that they're comfortable with their future. And you know what I mean?
But the reason you're firing somebody is because, like what you guys said, they're doing a shitty job. So why are you?
I've fired 5 people and I've never given a severance either. So just like, just so you know,
that's fine. That's fine. What I'm trying to understand is why would you, if somebody's doing a shitty job, why would you keep paying them because they're getting? It's different if you're laying them off. If you're laying them off because you're not making the money that they can be making,
It's the
No,
same
it's-
thing,
no,
but then if you lay
no,
them
it's
off,
not.
you're paying through workers' comp, and now you're going to be
No,
more money
it's
on that
not.
record.
If you're paying through severance because you have to lay them off, it's a different story than you're firing because they're doing a shitty job. If they're doing a shitty job, they don't bring no value to your company. Versus
Your
laying
workers'
them
comp
off
still
because
goes
you
up,
can't
though.
afford them. Sure,
I have
but
it.
if you're paying it because you can't afford them, that's a different story. Like, you're doing it based off of your morale, what you're saying, because you're sitting with somebody. Obviously, you befriended them and they've helped you grow in your company. It's obviously that, yo, I can only pay you 3 months. You don't have to come to work. Here's your pay. Thank you for whatever.
Here,
But
I have the.
if you're
I have the
paying
answer.
Tommy because he's doing a shitty job and he's hitting on every customer's moms, why are you paying him? Like, let's be
No.
honest.
Freddie,
I have the answer.
Rick,
I have the
good
answer. I have the
point.
answer.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
happened, and this has happened to me more than one time, but I'm gonna tell one specific story. So this is a long time ago. I had a store manager position come available in New Orleans, Louisiana, right? Place that everybody in my district wanted to be. I picked one girl from Alabama to promote, right? I interviewed my managers. I picked one girl from Alabama to promote to come and run this store. It was a big deal, right? She got in there, and this store was way too big for her to run, right? Too big of a jump in volume, and sales volume, right? Bigger team, more customers, more shipments, like the whole entire thing is just harder, right? She then was failing miserably. And just the way that the district was built at that time, there was no smaller store to roll her back to in the area that made sense. So I had a choice to make. There was no way this girl was going to make it. Like, she just did not have the leadership ability to run this store. Okay. So it was like, I got two choices. Like, I could just continue banging my head against the wall trying to help her, which it's just going to be a failure, or I got to let her go. Like, that was it. Right now, in that time frame, like, I was kind of handcuffed. I just had to keep helping her, right? Because I can't just give the other companies money that I work for away. But that is the situation where the example 3-month severance makes sense, because it's your fucking fault that it was my fault that I moved her into a position that she could not succeed in. And then she failed, and now she never has worked for the company ever again. And it was my fault as the leader. I made the incorrect decision in putting her into a position that she couldn't succeed in. So as an entrepreneur, where I do have the wherewithal to pay somebody 3 months severance pay if needed, right? That would be the situation where I would do it. Now, that being said, like, I don't know that our companies are structured for it to ever make sense, because you just don't have, you're not moving people like from the office to the field, or like promoting people. Like, you know what I mean? It's just not really happening. It's more of, like, to Justin's point, it's kind of more of a corporate world thing, or like, you have a VP that's like a great, 10th in command, and you promote them to the C-suite to be the 3rd in command, and it's a total fucking mess. You can't demote them back down, because then you just, right, you just got to pay him a year's severance and be like, give him a hug and let him go.
If anyone in here has been able to afford paying 3 months severance, let me know.
So the only reason I'm asking, like, I think your guys' examples at first were like totally off, because y'all were talking about firing people for whatever reason. Like,
Yeah, right. If they're right to your, like, right, yours was funny, but like, if they're hitting on the moms, like, bro, you don't get no severance. It really comes down to more if you put them in a position where they're doing a bad job, where they were doing a good job prior, and you're kind of handcuffed to not be able to move them back.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so
like it's not like if somebody, but even if somebody fucked up and they've been with the company for so long, like might not give them 3 months. 3 months is just a random number we threw out there. You know what I mean? We throw random numbers and figures out all the time. But I'd probably slap $1,000 in his hand and be like, "Yo, make this last until you find a new job."
Yes.
Like, you know
like,
what I mean?
I've got some core employees.
I bet you a bunch of us would do something like that.
I've got some core employees that have I would not be where I was without them. And then if all of a sudden they made some poor judgment lapse where it's like, dog, I gotta fucking fire you. Like, that was stupid. You're still my boy. I absolutely love you. Do I give them $1,000? I have no freaking clue. I've never been in that situation, but that's kind of, yeah.
Are you the business owner that would even think about it? Freddie, you don't sound like it. Yo, he's quiet now. Where you at?
Yeah, which is fine.
Freddie just wants to start an argument.
No, I'm sorry. I was replying, but I was on mute. So it depends. What was the mistake? What was
okay? Now you're getting it. It's such a controversial topic on it. It's not cut and
Exactly.
dry. Neither is the 3
Bro,
months.
you are the
It's just a
mistake.
topic.
You are the mistake, bro.
No, I just feel like I guess just the examples you guys were leading into were kind of stupid.
The context you brought is totally valid. I want to make sure that's clear.
What?
The context that you were coming from and what you were bringing up is totally valid. You know what I mean? And that's why we got even deeper into this subject. Like it's such a controversial and fluid subject. Like none of us have even actually done it. We just have the mentality that we would think about doing it in these situations and see why it would happen. You know what I mean?
Look at Josh, the streamer.
I missed out on this whole. I don't even know what's going on right now.
Yeah, bro. You missed out on the.
Yeah, you missed it.
The heat, baby. The heat.
Hey, we got to watch out. There's going to be memes in a group now because we're arguing with Freddie.
There was. I thought Donald Trump was going to come in and fire all of us.
Not me. I voted for Donald Trump. 2024, baby. He's coming back in office.
Don't lie, Freddie.
I'm gonna help him build that.
I don't want to check the politics box on YouTube, so let's not go there.
Agreed.
Oh my God.
All right, if you vote for Donald Trump, put it in the chat. Let's see.
You know, the whole payroll and firing and that's like a huge subject that could actually have its own show on.
Yeah.
You know, it's there's such a big issues with that. I mean, you know, do you give people money for bonuses? Do you not give people money for bonuses? You got 5 people that are working and 3 of them work 100% for 7 months out of the year, and then 4 people work, you know, 50% for, you know, 3 months. I mean, how do you decipher who's going to get what? You give them all equal. It kind of reminds me back to when I was working with my first painting company. He would give out bonuses, and it turned out to be just like everybody got the same thing. Oh, your weekly paycheck. Because if some people are worth $15 an hour, they got their paycheck at $15 an hour. If they're worth $20 an hour, they get their paycheck at $20 an hour. You can't justify yourself as an employer to say, okay, I'm going to give $1,000 bonus or whatever you might want to call it to someone that is only making a $500 paycheck, where someone else is making a $1,000 paycheck, and you're giving the $500 person a $1,000 bonus at the same time. That you'll have a difference in your workers' feelings with each other. You know, well, why is he giving this guy so much more money than me when I've been here longer, et cetera. I know I'm going a little bit off on the severance pay part that you were talking about, but it's just an example of, because I heard you talk about bonuses and stuff like that. It would be more beneficial to us as the owner to do a straight across the board same pay, or straight across the board same bonus, straight across the board same Christmas presents, straight across the board same time off allowance, not being prevalent towards one person more than the other person. Everybody should be on the same working field in that context. As far as the finances comes to, they all get more money on their paychecks because one gets paid a little bit more than the other. But when it comes down to, say, Christmas bonuses or if you want to feel, funny and want to give them a Valentine's Day bonus, that's your choice.
So do you
I think
give,
everybody needs to get the same dollar number, the same figure number, no matter what it is, whether it's a case of beer, whether it's $100, whether it's a gift certificate for dinner, they all should get the same.
so do you give the guy that started in January the same as the guy that started in August, the same round of Christmas bonus?
Okay, so let me make sure I understand this. In layman's term, what you're saying is, if someone is working with you for the entire year compared to someone that's working with you for 4 months at Christmas time, are you saying, are they getting the same bonus? Is that what you're asking me?
So no, yeah. So
Correct.
I feel like I can answer this in a good way. I feel like everybody should like bonuses usually don't happen until like at least a freaking year. Employee's been around for a year. I don't give bonuses like that. I'll take everybody out to the party, treat them nice, treat everybody well and whatnot. But like, I don't give anybody a bonus. They at least work me for a year, and that's like almost every company I've worked in. That's pretty standard too. So
And
So same question applies. Your guy works from January to December. Come January to the following December, he gets a bonus. Your other guy works from August to December, January to December, so he's worked a year and a half, and he gets the same bonus.
I feel like I'm being pulled over.
yeah, honestly, yes, I would give them the same. I treat people and do things. First of all, you want to have a whole conversation about like you pay these people, so you literally have control of most of these people's fucking lives. I'm just gonna let you know that right now. So like,
That's not true.
I don't
Florida,
I pay my employees on Mondays. I pay so that they show up on the weekends, and they're probably broke by Friday, and they need to work all weekend instead of partying all weekend because I'm dealing with kids all the time, or grown adults that like always want, like, everybody likes to party. Don't you know what I mean? We're in a party business. Anyways, there's even more like when you start talking about control and stuff. I like have a culture where people want, like, I hire hustlers, and those guys want to compete for hours. So if you're in my top guy, you get more hours and more money in that area, not more bonuses at the end. Everybody gets a freaking bonus if you're in the bonus category. And I'm only taking my close guys with me to IAPA, you know what I mean, and paying for their whole entire trip and whatnot because I'm already paying for the hotel room. Like, there's ways to run things and have a culture where it's not costing you a shit ton of money and you're also doing rewards. But do I buy McDonald's for, like, do you buy, like, it's like, if you're spending money the right way, it doesn't even matter. But it's like, it's almost like in my mind, you're basically asking me, do I buy McDonald's for the guy that just started last week, or do I buy him a burger too?
Yeah, can I chime in, Freddie? So this was the first year I was able to do Christmas bonuses, and it was actually for my Christmas light business, not for the jump off. But the way I did it was I structured amount of money, right? Because it's a really short season, so tenure, I guess, really doesn't matter. So this may not totally answer your question, but so I went through and I said, here's how much I paid everybody, and then I percented it out to how much money the total payroll was, and then I had the spreadsheet figure out of the amount of money that I had to give the Christmas bonus, what percentage each person should make. So that went into another row. And then I went through and I fudged those numbers, right? Because they were very skewed to where my two main installers got more money than the rest of the crew, because the rest of the crew was based on the math was very even. And then those two guys took a way bigger percentage of the bonus, and I didn't want it to be that skewed. So it ended up, I think it ended up 600. Everybody else got 400, I think. And then I think my admin also got 600 because she's like the unsung hero. I mean, she's like the MVP. But I based it on how much money you were paid versus overall payroll to try and make right. You're never going to make it fair. To Mark, the point Mark was making is, if you do what I did, the guys leave the party after some beers and like, what the fuck? You got 600, I only got 400. Fucking this guy got 400 and I got 400. I did more fucking work than they, right? So I structured it based off the money they were made. I did not tell anybody that, but I did that so that way when if there was any questions, I had listen, here's exactly how I fucking did it, right? To make sure there was no drama. For this year, I hopefully want to do like a 4th of July bonus, right? Christmas bonus in a Christmas light company is very easy. There ain't a lot of money in the jump off bank account at Christmas. So this year, hopefully, I'm going to be able to do a 4th of July bonus. But it's going to have to be structured differently. You know what I mean? Because it's mid-year. And so we haven't worked through a whole year. But just me being me, like everybody gets the bonus. Like I don't, as long as you're employed at the time, and didn't get right because you didn't get fired, like you get the bonus, whether you worked here for 3 months or 9 months. You know what I mean?
100%.
I also don't
You
take
guys-
tips,
you guys
and all
get
these dudes
bonuses?
make mad tips.
Yeah, my guys get tipped a lot.
I don't do any bonuses. I do an end of the year like party where I bring them to Top Golf or somewhere. But this last year, everyone was so shitty. I only took my number 1 employee to the strip club, and I was like, I'm sorry, you got everyone else sucks. And I'll my bonuses, like if somebody, because sometimes I'm like, hey, there's this random event on Wednesday, who wants to do it? And then someone will, first 2 people who are like, yeah, I'll do it. Like I'll slide an extra $50. So I'm like, thank you for
Right, dude, for sure. Yeah,
for being,
yeah, I'll do that too. Or be like, hey, bro, you stepped up and took that route and so fast and then finished early. Like I'm gonna pay you an extra hour, right? Because it incentivizes the hustle.
and I have one thing to tell everyone else too. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
You brought up a really good point. Like I work in a union, and we have a hour minimum. So I won't like. I go to a job and it takes me an hour, 2 hours to do, and I get paid for 6 at $20-something an hour. Like it's because we have a minimum. So I don't do that for like if I just like, yo, can you go deliver this bounce house? And I'm making like $400, $500, and it's just one delivery, and it takes the dude an hour. I'm not just giving him an hour like salary. You know what I mean? He's gonna go pick it up that day because there's one delivery that day for some reason. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna give that dude like 4 hours for a day, and it took him like 2 hours worth of work where he had to come back, and I might give him like 5 hours because at the end of the day, like he did it all by himself. I would have charged like I would have had 2 people on the truck do all that other stuff. So it's just like you're still way below what your actual margins are for what it is. So give the guy the extra money, give him what his value is, or else like the alternative is oh yeah, you're my guys. You came and did that 2 hours worth of work for $40. As if you're making $20 an hour.
This is a
So like,
reminder.
you know what I mean? So it's just
Waterfronts.
like, and he had to drive. You know, like I'm lucky because my guys live near my shop, so like most of them walk to work. Whereas in like how like I don't know how many of you guys actually have to commute to even go there and stuff like that. Like my guys, I pay them extra and stuff, but they're hustlers, so they'll jump and just go do it because it's like, oh,
Yeah,
somebody
I'm
called
saying-
last minute for a bounce house.
Justin pays
Get
them
it.
hazard pay for blowing out their knees soloing.
Oh no, I got an electric dolly, the big Herc, so they got, you know what I mean, and lift gates and stuff. So they could do all that stuff themselves.
Right. Yeah. Once you get the good equipment, bro, it's a different story. But I'm a little different on that, where it's like if it's a route with one unit, like I'm kind of a dick, but I pay you for that one unit. Like, but that being said, it's like I keep a mental note of those things happening, and you get preferential. Like, I'll text you back, hey, bro, we got a busy Saturday. You want to run a Saturday? Before I'll send out the whole entire, before I send it out to all the guys to let them cherry pick or whatever. Like there is times where I will overpay them for those, but like if it's a one bounce house pickup, it's like, bro, that's the easiest thing in the universe. Like
I do minimum hours for my phone parties, so they're in and out faster. That's a whole topic I can go into. Like I do, like I charge 5, like I charge $500 plus delivery for a man phone party, and like I basically will do one person. You know what I mean? Depending on how many I have going on, if I have like a couple going on, I'll send 2 people. Or if I have like a long event, I'll send 2 or 3 people. But if I have just a quick event, it's like, yo, I'll give you like, you know what I mean? I'm willing to send 2 people to go do all this stuff. So I'll give you a minimum hours. It's only going to take you an hour to, like an hour in total, like a half hour to load, half hour to unload the truck, whatever vehicle. And then you have your hour party. And then let's say an hour of driving. So it's like 3 hours. I'll pay you for 5 hours. I'll give you $100. Give you $120. Go do this freaking phone party. You know what I mean? I'll give them even more if they're using their own vehicle and gas. And then go make me $500 plus, or if you're already there, it just starts compounding more because I'm selling solution and extra hours on top of it. So it's like, then I'm just paying them hourly on top of it. But it's like, I'll pay you $120, $140, $150. Go bring me 500 back plus delivery.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, I mean it's kind of one of those things where it's you know, you just got to be like again, maybe I'm a little bit too hard on this, but it's like I just don't want them getting how do I want to say this, used to the extra money where it's like no, like no, let me say it differently. I want to run it like a business, right? And the business is you clock in, you get paid, you clock out, you are done getting paid.
yeah.
But that being said, I also like it. I'm utterly obsessed with the meritocracy, right? Because I came from a commission-based life prior to where it's like what you did is what got you the rewards. And so I like to try and cook that in as much as I can. Now, obviously, I'm the gatekeeper to those. But it's kind of like you can walk, like doing doing my taxes, like, you start adding up all the amount the guys made. Because I actually switched to payroll mid-year, right? So I was doing it myself prior for the first 2 quarters, and you go add up what everybody made, and it's like, wow, that's kind of crazy that
That's
he made
interesting.
that much money. But then I started thinking through, I'm like, no, because he was always the first dude to raise his hand, always the first dude to text on a Wednesday, I want the Saturday route, whatever it is, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense. He actually made more money because he was the one that was so eager. He's the first, like something pops up. The first guy I text is like, I just want it done. You know what I mean? The first guy I text is the eager guy because I want it done. Make it easy.
So you're more of like, I understand from everybody, like from everybody else. So you're basically saying you would rather just pay this person more overall than ever than mess with the hours a little bit. And he deserves it because he's actually going for it.
Right. So your reward.
I agree with that. That's
not...
actually a very good way of looking at it. Cause like I want to bring something up too. Salary positions. I'm actually thinking about doing my main guy a salary position. And I have 2 main guys, but the one I mentioned earlier, I want to move him to possibly like a warehouse manager, which isn't even a position that I'm trying to create this year. You know what I mean? So I'm not giving that a salary position. And I honestly, as a person like this, we can talk about this too. I feel like as a salary position, he would not show up sometimes and not put those hours in. And I know this, so that would be the worst thing you want to do for a salary position.
Then that's why you fire him. If he can't show up,
you would have to
him.
and maybe have to give him money and stuff because you messed up and did that. Exactly, Freddie. Like you don't want it, so don't make that position in the first place. That dude's going to stay on hourly. And
That's why you fire him.
Both my guys are working downstairs in the lounge too as volunteers, so they're both here. It's actually weird.
I guess it all depends on your state law. Florida, you mess up, you get fired. Go collect unemployment if you want to.
Well,
You can't do it.
I guess up north
state.
with the union and all that, great, however you guys work it, you guys might get sued for
That's
whatever.
not what I'm trying to say is what I'm talking about salaries. I don't want to get off topic here. So specifically, I had a conversation with if I pay him $40K for a salary, he's not working in the winter and doing much or dick basically, like working like 20 hours pretty much or less, but he's possibly working 50 hours or more in the summer. It kind of evens out.
Sorry, how much are you guys paying?
Steady pay. What?
How much are you guys paying per employee, if you don't mind me asking?
So I'm paying them 20 right now.
$5 a bounce house, $20 a slide.
I've been
Yeah, no,
thinking
I'm paying
about
them
paying.
$20 an hour.
Here's what I've been kind of thinking to kind of, try to get somebody more solid. Because the people that I have, it's just kind of like I ring them up and they're like, all right, yeah, I got time to help you. I kind of don't, kind of thing. I don't really have nobody like solid, but I've been kind of thinking of maybe doing 25 per unit, depending on the size, if it's a big water slide,
So
something huge.
the issue
maybe
with the
do it.
law is when it comes
That's
to
high
that,
though. That's high.
is-
That's high.
yeah, you might be paying
Yeah.
them more money. You're better off doing hourly, because if you don't pay them
Yeah.
hourly and they're at least their hourly wage or whatnot, like what, you know what I mean? What they're worth,
Yeah.
their minimum wage, then you are technically like they can come after you for money. And if you're paying over what you're trying to pay them, then you're shorting yourself. So you're better off just doing it hourly in the long run, because you're better off protected. I'm not an accountant or a CPA.
You don't think there
Like-
was maybe like those people would stay longer though? Because I don't know if you guys know Lily from South Carolina, I think. Lily with Crop Creations.
Mhm.
I
Have you
don't-
guys heard of her?
So,
All I know
I
is
think
that
so.
I've been paid, like my
She's been,
guy
like,
has been with
around
me since the beginning, like 3 years
Yeah.
ago since I started. And then this dude, they're literally not making that much money and having side jobs, and they're talking about summer like crazy and super hyped about all the stuff that's going on, and just ready to go. And I've had conversations about him, like, so this is what I was getting at about the salary. So I'm thinking about paying, like, because my options are pay him under the table, which I'm not doing illegal shit because I have like the whole fucking world watching me, so I can't do that. So it's like I'm not doing that. So then
Being
it's,
live
or
streamed.
I just pay him instead of paying him. Like I was thinking, and I'm not doing this because I can't. So I'm just literally gonna say it. So don't do this either because it's illegal. What I was talking about is possibly paying him cash over 50 hours he worked, and just keeping that salary at 40. But I'm like, okay, well, I can't pay him cash under the table. So I'm like, okay, man, I'm just going to give it, instead of 40K, I'm just bumping it up to 50K. And and it's just even out because
You
it's the
can-
same amount of money and it's
Justin.
actually reported and all that extra stuff. So that's
You
where
need
I've
to find
actually
you
come
some
to the
illegals,
conclusion
bro.
You can do.
Huh?
No, Justin, you
You
can
need to
do.
find you
Yeah,
some
I'm serious.
illegals.
Justin, you can
No,
do
dude,
some cool
I'm-
stuff with prepaid debit cards or whatever, prepaid Visa cards that are, and it's all legal. But Bruno, so I have a guy that works for me, and kind of a local competitor, but he's kind of removed from me. But Isaiah works for both of us, and so Dave pays $15 a unit per person who drops that unit, right? So if it's a one-man route, you make $15. It's a two-man route, each guys make $15. Then, but I pay hourly, right? So the reason I paid per unit in the beginning, and the reason with my first employee I ever had, his name was Adam. The reason I went away from it is because dropping off a 20 or picking up a 22-foot dual lane has to be worth more money than picking up a bounce house, right? So it's just like I was just like, you got to make it worthwhile and da. And then I'm kind of like, oh, wait a minute, I'm paying hourly. Like that's hourly, right? Because it's going to take you longer to pick up the 22-foot than it is the bounce house. So then with every employee I hired after Adam, I just did hourly, right? And for where I live, I try to make that hourly rate, good, like above average. Dave pays $15 per unit regardless, right? Whether it's a bounce house or
One second, Nick. Let me ask you something really quick. Do you time yourself though? Like as far as like how drop-offs go, is there a specific thing
Me-
that you do? Like
I
I
do.
try to do 3 to 4 units per hour, and we
Yeah.
set up and go pretty quick.
yeah. And so
Me
yeah, go ahead, Freddie.
me and my daughter can pick up 18-foot water slide in 15 minutes. I don't know if that's fast or not, but to me that's pretty fast.
All right.
Yeah. So for
That's from blowing it up, make sure it's good, and dropping it.
Are you cleaning it too?
Not at the customer. We clean it at home.
Bullshit.
No, it's too much work.
Can
Kevin.
I,
I just clean it
Bullshit.
there.
Oh
All
my!
right, can I-
Hold on.
No,
See, this is where it's gonna get kind of interesting.
Sophie.
I'm
Sophie,
I'm-
do we
I'm
clean
ready
our
to
units
answer
at
your
home or
question,
at the
Bruno.
property?
All right.
Right
I
Right there.
gotta
Look, there
jump.
she is. She's even telling you we do it at the property.
Listen, I got
Freddie's
listen,
like me. Like, he
She's
cleans
paid
afterwards.
employee.
Some people don't. They clean
He's
on
my number one
site.
employee.
But I'm like Freddie. I just pick up and then blow them up again and then clean them up. But it does take a lot more labor and time. But I know
so
some
much
of you
more time.
guys. Yep, some of you guys just clean on site. But then
Okay.
again, you guys' hours are different than mine. I think some of you guys have different areas, different prices. All those things to
So-
kind of consider. And my time, I'm done. Like by 12:30. We start at 6 and we're done by 12:30. No matter what, like it's guaranteed 12:30.
Yeah, we're the
So-
same. And so basically, yes, we tie and I've had to play with it a whole bunch because the guys just aren't as efficient as me, right? There's some units they can pick up faster than me because bro, I've been doing this long enough to where I'm like, I don't care to go fucking fast anymore. Like let's just get there, do the good job. Like you do a good job and get a good roll on the unit and it goes on the trailer faster, it goes back in the warehouse faster, it goes on the forklift fast, like right, do a good job when you're there, you make it up on the back end, right? That being said, I did time myself picking everything up, and that's what goes in the route builder in Inflatable Office. I have intelligently adjusted those to make sure that they have enough time, right? Because I tell my guys, I'm like, I do not want you going lightning speed. Like you go light speed, you're going to forget stuff and you're going to give bad customer service. The customer service is number one. So if I make a route that is get there at 6, load till 7, 7:15 drop off till 12, and you finish at 12:15, I'm not pissed because I trust you guys that you did a good job with the clients. So that 15 minutes makes sense, right? I'm going to trust that you're not at the gas station dicking around. And so then that's like, you have that conversation with them and pay them hourly. They
They only spend 2
understand the
hours.
value of both sides of the equation. You know what I mean? Whereas if you pay per unit, all they do is get in the truck and do the math. Bro, we made fucking $38 an hour on that one. Let's see how fucking fast we can drive and let's see how fucking fast we can do the next one. Right. And it's all it is speed. We finished the route 2.5 hours early. We made fucking this much per hour. You're which is fine if that's what your company value is, right? If that's what you value, cool.
Yep.
Me, it's customer service. Like I want you to be behind schedule because the $2 million house had fucking 48 questions and you stood there with a smile on your face and answered all fucking 48 questions, right? So you just have to figure out what culture you want to build, and then on the back of that you can then go make the decision of what you want. But to answer your original question, Isaiah makes the same amount of money making hourly for me, $18 an hour to drive a truck or 15 hours per drop. Some days he makes more with Dave. Some days he makes more with me. It just depends on the situations of the day. They all come out in the wash and he ends up basically making the same thing at both places.
So I think dude, honestly, you're spot on with that, man. Because like, honestly, I don't want the company call. I didn't even think about that. If you pay your guys per inflatable like that, you're literally creating a company culture of Speedy Gonzalez, basically.
Yep.
Like you want to be as fast as you can to make as much
I like
money.
Speedy Gonzalez.
And, like I kind of do like the like actual like, oh, take your time and pride. I don't care if they milk the hours a little bit as long as they're actually doing something and working and not just sitting and doing nothing. Because if they're milking the hours for customer service, it's amazing. Like that's exactly. I will bring up this though that will probably save everybody millions, like thousands of dollars in time and labor. And that's having an automation that says for all the people that their delivery stuff was the day before. So I don't know if you guys do same day pickups, drop offs. It all depends.
I used to, but I stopped this year. Hell no.
Yeah.
It's
So at the end of the day, if you listen, I delivered to the hood and some of that shit I ain't leaving overnight. So at the end of the day, like I do my thing. But,
Just bring some weed.
No, so listen for a second. So basically what I do is the ones that are the same day, those are usually always blown up. And I always call that same day, hey, we're coming to get it this time. Make sure it's blown up, yada, yada. the drivers are trained to do the same thing. If I don't call, they call, or when I call, just to make sure, they still call, just to repeat that. The next day, the next morning, I call everybody, and it has an email automation, stuff like that, text message where it tells everybody, hey, blow that shit up this morning, get all the dew off of it, let it get ready for our guys to pick it up, yada, yada. So now you don't have to take the time to blow that thing up, and it's just easily inspectable. Is it, and this is basically where my guys, I told them to assess the situation, and they look at it and it's like, does this thing need to be clean? Is this thing so dirty that it needs to be either A, brought to the shop, B, cleaned like here, because you
It's
don't
being
like,
recorded,
pull
just so you
toys
know.
and stuff off of it right now here, and then we don't have to like deal with all this stuff at some random customer's house and pull jackets out, etc., and see that the unit is not damaged and all that stuff. And then C, like you can literally just like, okay, everything's clean and good, and go pull the stakes off. Because here's the thing, if you start like, rips and tears on your inflatables are most likely caused when they pull the stakes. And if you use bigger stakes, like, and they move the inflatable around like a water slide, and it's leaning on a stake, and they pull it and rip it. So if the inflatable is already blown up, you minimize that, and everything is accessible, so they don't even have to pick vinyl up or move it. And then they can easily make the slide fold down the right way and deflate the right way and fold it, so it's easier to faster and roll. So just by contacting your customers and making things so those things are actually inflated when you get there will save you so much time and money. Because like, honestly, most of the time, 90% of the time, this thing is ready to go. We'll just clean it in front of the customer next time. And this way, you're not cleaning the inflatable at somebody's house unless it's crazy, or like 90% of the time, you're just pulling some toys off and some jackets at the actual customer's house. But then
I just found that there's going to be a cleaning fee. If they don't, there's a $50 cleaning fee. So
I don't
charge
charge that at all.
There you go, Josh.
I just tell them that. I don't charge it either, but I just tell them that. And then they usually go outside and start spraying it and cleaning the shit out of it.
Yeah, so but this is the thing though. You got to think of the way customers actually think though. If you clean this inflatable, like if you're just like 90% of the time, like it's either, so you're just pulling jackets off or toys out and then just going, you know what I mean? Or you're just deflating it and just going. If it needs to be washed, you're washing it at your warehouse. Don't clean it at the customer's house. They won't call you again because they felt like they made you do extra work and are dirty, or you're going to come after them for this $50 or etc. Just don't do it like at their freaking place. And then you want to make sure it's not dirty enough that you're pulling a dirty inflatable and have to clean a giant dirty inflatable that's beyond like super bad, where you have to use their hose or something at somebody else's house.
Well, you missed it last week because according to last week, none of them cleaned their stuff.
Freddie, I want to hear
giving me a fucking
when you're
headache.
setting up an inflatable at somebody's house, then you can clean.
Yo, shut up.
Mark,
you
speak.
You missed, Justin. You missed it last week because according to them, nobody cleans their stuff.
Hold on, man.
Yeah.
You guys have just went from A to Z and from B to R and fuck STUBX.
It's like we're trying to get all of the
Totally confusing here. I don't know how many people are in here that are veterans. How many are newbies? I know most of you guys are good guys. This is going on my 21st year. And I'm just going to cover quite a few things with what I think I can remember what was just discussed. I'm quite not sure if I can remember it all. The first thing, customer service, that Nick said. I am firmly believing in customer service no matter what it takes us to do. Customer service needs to be the same from the start to the finish, no matter what. Absolutely, that's the first thing. I want to go to the cleaning on site thing. And I want to ask each one of you guys to become—
Hold up, Mark. I have a question.
Yeah.
What customer service are you giving at the location besides good morning, thank you, and please?
Okay. Customer service is from the minute that phone rings, your politeness, the way you talk, the way you approach that customer from that phone to the time you get to deliver that unit, you approach them the same way you talk to them at the beginning, to when you come back and you pick it up, you talk to them the same exact way, no matter what the situation is, and you leave. Same customer service
Okay, I agree.
way through.
But then-
So
maybe
what I'm
Mark, what's the-
curious
what's the
is
second thing you were
how
saying,
Justin was
Mark?
saying that he doesn't care if their guys milk the clock and they're on site giving better customer service. How much time are you there milking the clock to give customer service?
Well, I think that was
Like
just
typically when I deliver, the people are like, put it there and I'm done.
well, I think that was a figure of speech from Justin. I don't think that was a parameter that he gives to his workers. Hey, you stand there and talk to them for 25 minutes. And I
Yeah.
don't think he would do something like that. I think that was just an example or a figure of speech coming from him.
I
I
think
think that's
20
case
minutes
by
max,
case anyways.
I
'Cause
think
I think
20
it-
minutes max.
I think
But
it
from the
depends on
moment-
the customer.
Let me share
and-
what I do, guys, real quick. Whenever I set up like our units, like, presentation, it's like the number one thing for me. Or like as soon as we get there, like I try to put kind of like a show, like it's about the kid's birthday party. And if I see him out there, I'm usually like, hey, how's it going, buddy? We brought the bounce house, high five. Is it your birthday? And then the mom sees us and they get all excited and kind of walk them through the whole bounce house, how to turn it off, how to turn it on, the emergency exit and whatnot. And a lot of the customers appreciate that. And they're like, man, we never had this type of customer service from the other bounce house, but we have heard a lot of good stuff, from you guys. And that's why we decided to go with you guys. I think sometimes that kind of goes a long way and kind of helps out too, Just kind of, you're bringing the party, so you have to excite people, you're like, dang, bringing a big ass bounce house, water slide, high five, hey, is it your birthday, buddy? Yeah, and just hype them up. It's like a show.
To add to what
Sure.
Bruno
All
said
that.
is that like what makes us different than any other bounce house that delivers something clean?
Is your customer service? That's the difference.
Yeah, and the way you talk to them and stuff.
Okay, so let me just finish what I was going on, because this is where we get off of our conversation. We go in different directions here. So the customer service, I definitely think I've hit to a T. You keep it equal all the way through. Well, like Bruno says, you talk to the kid. If you see the birthday boy out there, hey, it's your birthday. I like to say things like, how old are you? If he says you're 5, no, you're 8 years old. Don't tell me you're 5. You make them laugh. You make the parents laugh, etc. Whatever you have to do. And then I remember the talk here about cleaning on site. Okay. I might be thinking this different than some of you guys, and maybe I'm not. Now, if you show up to a bounce house and there's water in your bounce house because they were in the swimming pool and they're jumping in there, and you feel you got to clean it, I don't think you do. So my example that I started to say was, all you people here, you guys are all renters, and you just rented from me. And I showed up to your party to pick up my bounce house. All the kids are out of the bounce house now. The fun is coming down and is going away, but yet they're going to sit there and watch you or watch me dry up the bounce house. And in the meantime, they're going, well, this guy's here drying this thing and cleaning it, and the kids could still be playing. You should fold that thing, unless there's a pile of shit in that bounce house, or there's some dirty food in there, or something to that extent. That bounce house gets rolled up, taken to your shop, and that's where you clean it. Cleaning it on the job, unless you have to immediately flip it that day, you clean the worst stuff out of it and you fold it and you go and you clean it at the shop. It's not the customer's responsibility for you to sit in their yard and clean your equipment. It's your
I agree.
shop where you clean it.
But
Now-
so we, okay, go ahead.
So and the talk of who was it that brought it up? God, I'm going to go into the payroll stuff, and now I don't want to
It
go
was
there.
about salaries.
I think that all that goes into customer service also. Customer service is not cleaning your equipment in the customer's yard. Customer service is giving them what they want and taking it away when it's time to take it away. It's your responsibility, my responsibility, everybody else in every other group's responsibility to clean it at your shop, where that's your business to take care of it. That's
Do you
kind of how
feel,
I feel about that.
hey Mark, do you feel like, because I had a lot of like bad experiences, but do you feel like, let's say a customer leaves a unit really freaking bad, what do you do then? Do you like tell them, hey, you got to clean it up, or just try to charge them a cleaning fee? Because I mean, the way I'm doing it is just, if they don't want me to charge them the cleaning fee, I make sure to let them know, hey, I'm going to charge you $50 cleaning fee. How do
No,
you go about that? Because there was this one
that
time,
you would,
I'll
if
tell
you get
the
to the,
whole bounce house inside and out was full of mud and shit. It was horrific. I wish I would have got that on a video.
now
So the
something
person-
like that, okay, so something like that, you would go ahead and take the water hose and rinse it out at their property, and if they say, what are you doing? You say, look how you left this. I cannot roll this up like
Yep.
this. Now, there, I said this word once, but it actually has happened to me twice. And my wife was actually at one of the pickups. I went back to pick up my combo, and there was literally human shit in my bounce house, and the kids were bouncing around in it. The shit was everywhere in that bounce house. I was so pissed. I went to the swimming pool where all their guests were swimming and grabbed people's towels off of their chairs and soaked it with the chlorine water out of the pool and took it back to my bounce house to clean it up, their towels. I also turned around, the owners brought out chemicals and bleach, and they were apologetic and everything. That's an example of cleaning it on the job. Mud,
We're in the same stage then.
if it's a little
I've
bit,
had 2 human
roll it
shits.
up and take it. If it's water, roll it up, take it. You roll up a water slide wet and take it. You don't dry the water slides on people's properties. Why would
Now, do you
dry
block
the
them?
combo?
Do you block
know,
them after that?
Well,
Put them on your bad list.
yeah, I've had 2 people shit my bounce house and they're both blocked. And that's on 20
Okay, I
years.
was just verifying. Double check
You know,
them, but verify.
So, well, yeah, let me tell you, the one house, every time we go by it, I always flip a bird at it and say
Human?
nasty stuff.
Human poop?
Huh?
Human
no,
poop
man,
or
that's
dog
not
Human
good customer
shit.
service.
Human poop
It was
twice.
human shit.
I've had
No,
it twice.
Oh, yeah, you can tell you live in Florida.
Florida
Yeah,
man.
that's a Florida
Florida
thing.
man. It's in bounce house.
Florida man.
It happens in Arizona too. It was 2 different churches.
Yeah, he said no, it happens in Arizona
It
too.
does. 2 different churches where they were like, I'm sorry, someone shit on it. You're on top of the slide and there's just shit spread everywhere, and there's a little turd floating in the pool at the bottom, and you're just like,
Bro, my first phone party, this fucking kid got butt ass naked, just started running around. It was like a greased pig. I knew who his parents were because he was already acting like crazy. So I like just immediately went for them, and they went and grabbed him. They weren't really surprised, but it's like, and then like I called Chris Weed. I'm like, he's like, yeah, it happens to me like twice a year. It happened at my first party. It was bad.
yeah. As far as like on-site cleaning, I don't think we've ever cleaned like when the party's over, but there's sometimes when we pick stuff up, like my guys know, I'm like, okay, this cannot be unrolled at anybody's house. You have to, we're gonna, when you come and bring it back, put it over here. That means it has to be unrolled and cleaned here. But other times there's inflatables where it's like, okay, we go to the customer's house. I have all these soap guns and everything, and especially like water slide season. And though I give 30 minutes per setup for water slide, and that includes hooking up the soap gun, spraying it all down. They see all the foamy bubbles everywhere. And customers a lot of times have been like, oh my God, like it's so awesome seeing you guys clean it here, because we don't ever know if it's clean or not. And just seeing all the soap and everything and all the bubbles
Agreed.
like
Well, I don't know about
amazing.
soap,
Good
but
point.
pretty much
Dude, you gotta
100%.
refer them to your Google reviews.
Pretty much all of my water slides we clean on spot, and I would say every single customer that's ever witnessed it has been pleased about it, seeing that we've cleaned it.
Well, and I learned from Chad. He owns
Sometimes
Arizona Bounce.
it's
He owns
them-
Arizona Bounce. Like earlier, Justin was talking about putting people on salary. That's what reminds me of Chad. 'Cause Chad, he probably makes like $5-6 million a year. He's killing it. He
Oh,
does
dang.
like
Typical
he's got.
Chad. That's a typical
the
Chad thing to do.
I mean, he's got some of the biggest water slides in the world. He'll go to California, and I've heard the stories. They'll rent like backhoes, dig big ass holes, and put like tractor tires in the ground where they like anchor these like the tripo and the whatever those big inflatables are. He makes a bunch of money. Like he goes and travels all over the United States. And I've learned a lot of things from him because one of my first employees, he worked for him for like 6 years. And one of the things, Justin, that my employee Matt, he always said that Chad always tried to get people on salary all the time, and it always failed. No matter how, it didn't matter if it was 40K, 50K, 60K. He got better results paying people like a certain hourly wage. And he's the one who taught me too, like if somebody's brings back a shitty roll and it looks like shit, you make everyone clock out. Whoever is the one who rolled it up, they have to bring it out, unroll it, re-roll it, and everyone point and laugh at them for their shitty job. I mean, he always called everyone a dumbass all the time.
Shit.
Like Matt said, so many people quit all the time because he was always calling people dumbass. And that made some people be like, oh, I'm not a fucking dumbass. It made people work harder than the people who are weak. It weaned them out where they're like, oh, he called me a dumbass, I'm going to quit. Because, I mean, like what y'all were saying earlier, it's better to get people to quit than to fire them.
Yeah, I think it's a different conversation. But I'm
Chad's
with you
a
though.
boss. He's a
Yeah,
beast.
yeah. But I'm with you though on the salary thing. I've thought it through a lot, and I'm not at the point where I'm going to make that move. But when I do have a full-time guy, which I would love to do this summer, yeah, they'll be an hourly guy that way. Because Justin made the point where it's like, well, they'll be putting in 50 plus hours in the summer, but then only 20 in the winter. It's like I don't have the money in December and January to pay the salary that I have in June. Also, I don't have will it all come out in the wash? Maybe. But if I just pay hourly, then we'll be good. Yes, I'm gonna have to pay overtime in the summer if they do work overtime. But it's something I'm happy to manage. You know what I mean?
You would just need a budget.
It's almost more incentive once you see that overtime bill, just to hire more and get the business almost operating too. That's actually a really interesting way of putting it.
Because I kind of miscalculated, I guess you could say, the workers in my Christmas light business this year, where I trained up 2 lead installers, and then we had a whole bunch of new competition come in to where we just weren't as busy as I thought we were going to be. And so those 2 like literally quit their jobs to install Christmas lights. They're my 2 highest paid guys. And then we only had enough work for 2 trucks, and like, well, I'm going to go be one of them because I like putting up Christmas lights too much. Right. So I had both of them working together. So like their 1 truck was way too fucking expensive, but like those 2 guys mean way too much to me to not give them the hours or not give them the work. You know what I mean? To where then they started going into overtime. Holy fuck. That was those checks were brutal, dude. Those checks were brutal. One of my guys made like 65% of what I made on my first year made from my payroll. So it was insanity. So it was like a very good lesson learned, right? And I've got big enough margins in that business to where it's like it's no big deal. I took care of the guys, we're all good. But it was like, yeah, we should have thought that through a little bit more thoroughly.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, there's definitely more responsibility when you start doing all that stuff too.
Yeah, it's hard
Yeah,
to
that's-
manage.
yeah. So if you guys look, you take my advice here. If you buy stocks, I think we need to look for the jump off stock, because I've been listening to the hints that Justin said and Nick said today. There's 1,300,000 employees at Amazon, and Justin squirted out something about Nick was going to have 1 million employees, and then Nick describes he's going to be moving to California, but wants to keep one company open here and one over there. I think we should buy jump off stock just in case he becomes that 1 million man employee person.
Not publicly
I
traded
won't, I
yet,
won't
but
buy it if you move to California, because then you don't know about taxes. You got to move to Texas. Then
Oh my
I'll,
God,
then I'll
dude.
buy stocks. I'll buy
Texas
stocks.
is the greatest state in this
No-
whole
no
nation.
income-
Let's
no
get it
income
settled.
I agree. Move to Texas.
Let's
Florida's
get it
full.
settled.
Minimum wage is $7.25.
Texas
I-
got some big wild hogs out there.
Texas is cheap, man. You don't get
That's why
shit.
it's awesome. Well, the
Yeah,
hogs,
go to
not the
Texas.
cheap.
Florida's full capacity. Sorry.
Yeah, I like Houston a lot, right? And it's close to me. And then went to Dallas in October to go visit Big and Bright Inflatables. Like flew me out there to like see their facility and like whatever, do some biz. And I was like, yo, Dallas is fucking dope. Like super dope. And then I've always since the first time I ever went to Austin, I took my wife there. Austin, right? It's kind of different now than the last time we went there because of the tech boom, but Austin's fucking dope too. Like Texas, I could mess with Texas easy.
Dude, I'm pumped. Next year, ARA and the phone universe is both going to be in New Orleans. So
Hell yeah, I will be there with a camera.
yeah, that's it. I know. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be like 2 separate times and stuff like that. Probably be like near each other. So maybe I'll freaking grab a hotel or something for the month, or we'll do
Nick.
we'll do some film or something like that. Or maybe we do like a training or something in between then.
Yeah,
Or
bro.
something. Hint, hint,
Yo,
some
Nick.
collab. But I just want. I'm out of here, so I gotta go actually work. So
All right, bro.
Hey, I love you guys all and appreciate you guys
Later.
for doing this, man. Cheers, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Bye.
Later.
What up, Freddie?
If I come to ARA, can I crash with you?
Yeah, I'm probably, but yes, you definitely
Don't do
can.
it. No, don't do it, Nick.
Yeah, you definitely can. I'm like probably, it's probably at the convention center, so I'm probably an hour from it. But you get to drive across the longest bridge in the world.
I wouldn't do it, Nick. I heard he likes feet.
Hey, maybe I'm also a feet model. That's where I make all my money.
I got an OnlyFans for my feet.
Yeah, bro, that's where I make all my money. What are you talking about?
Do they have scooters in New Orleans?
No, they're
Oh.
very what's the opposite of progressive? Conservative. Yeah, they won't
There you go.
they won't legalize weed because they're worried it'll take away from like the bar scene. I'm like, clearly the legislature have never been high because like you just want to party harder when you're high. But
Yeah.
yeah, they won't. They were slow on Uber because of the taxis, and now they don't want scooters because of the Uber. It's stupid.
That's good. It's better to be that way. Over here, you see all the weed shops. There's a line of people like back down to the parking lot, and it's like, I just look at them and just like, it's hard to explain. I just look at them and without being judgmental, I'm just like, you need to not do that.
Yeah, I don't know how people smoke weed and stay productive, bro. Like if I take a puff, it's over for me. Like my brain can't even I can't even watch like a children's show without getting skeptical. Like I'm like, no, this storyline does not make sense. Dora did not say that to Boots.
The swiper, no swiping.
Yeah, bro. I'm like, Swiper didn't even swipe that. How that got in this fucking bag? Like I'm a mess.
Like I had nightmares about sniper for so long. But I did try to smoke weed the other day, and it just brought me back to, okay, I'm not gonna get anything done. I'm not gonna be productive. I think there's a right moment in your life where once you're like making like $20 million a month or something, and you're like everything is run, all your businesses are self-ran, then yeah, treat yourself to some weed. But before that, it's like it's only gonna slow you down.
Yeah, I try and
I
like
think.
that. Yeah. Like if I'm at a party and like we're going hard, I'm like, all right, bro, like I wanna like curb the alcohol consumption a little bit. Yeah, bro. We'll introduce a little weed into the system at that point, so then I can switch to water and be cool. But like in regular life,
100%. I'm just saying, weed ain't bad, man.
no,
It
not at
helps
all.
me.
I think
It
weed's
helps me.
amazing.
Like if
Yeah, not at
I
all.
don't, I can't do any of this. I would look at it and be like, what hell?
I have a buddy like where it's just
Just,
like,
just so
he's
you
like,
know,
no, bro, I can't get on my spreadsheets until I smoke. I'm like, bro, if
Right?
I were
No,
to look
I
at a
feel that for
spreadsheet high,
sure.
if I looked at a
Woo!
spreadsheet high, I don't even know if like I would like seriously be like, is the
You'll sit
number
and
wrong?
look, but once you figure it out, it'll blow your mind, and then you'll do
No,
it
bro,
every time.
I get
You'll
like
do it
mad
every time.
skeptical. I get like super skeptical, and then I can't like, right, I'm really like I think deeply about things, right? And so those synapses can't fire correctly, and so like I can't like overanalyze shit, and like because I can't put two and two together, and it freaks me the fuck out. Like it freaks me the fuck out.
If
And
you
I
have
sit there.
ADHD is because, so sorry to interrupt you. My neighbor works at a weed store, and I told him, because he's like, oh,
sounds
I
like a
got
long
some
story.
stuff. No, it's a short one. He was like, I got some weed that'll make you fall asleep. I heard that you freak out and you get all paranoid and you have panic attacks. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, so if you have ADHD, you have to smoke the opposite. He's like, the stuff that makes everyone calm and makes them go to sleep, you have to smoke the opposite of it.
It's called Benadryl. It's cheaper.
Easier to get too.
You think I'm gonna take my chance to go to a drug dealer to buy some weed just so I can go to bed? Go to freaking Walgreens.
I mean, that seems like the most beneficial thing out of weed for me, because I was like, you can actually give me something that will make me
All
go to
right.
sleep. Like,
Nick, question. Obstacle course. I need one. What is the perfect, for anyone watching, what is the perfect obstacle course length for like small backyards? Because there are a lot of big, there's a lot of huge neighborhoods that went in around me, like talking 3,000-4,000 home developments. Crazy.
With
all small backyards.
So the best shit you can get, like the best shit you can get is
like a 40 foot,
60-ish foot, but two piece where you get like a rock climb slide and then the obstacle piece. Like that's the best shit you can get. But if you're in like small ass backyards with those little ass gates and stuff, you'll probably want the one piece, which those are usually
60% of my customers will have the small backyard. 40-ish% will have big backyards, and they're getting my big water slides.
Even if you buy the bigger one with the two piece, you can still rent out half of it as for the small backyards.
Which is like so mine is like my rock climb slide's like 28 feet and the obstacle piece is like 32 or something like that. We have big backyards here, so I don't have it available to piece out because I'm like, no, I want the fucking 405, so it's only available together. But I really think what you should do is buy two, buy what I'm talking about, and you can get them from anywhere.
I was thinking easy.
HEC has good ones.
How many times did you guys say do you guys rent out the obstacle courses on your area?
Best unit I have.
My dry one 50 foot for is $550, and then my wet one, which is the 80 foot for $650.
Now keep in mind, I have no experience with these yet. So like what what am I looking at cleaning wise, like time, so I can figure that into like the
They're a bitch.
rental cost? They
The
are.
obstacle part's a
leaf
bitch.
blower.
Combo probably 30 minutes, 45 minutes, depending on how bad it is. Just double
Yeah.
it for an obstacle course.
No, not double. It's just annoying because like you're in there vacuuming and the fucking thingies are hitting the pylon thingies are hitting you in the
Yeah.
head. It's just annoying.
So with obstacle courses, it's the one time where you can use leaf blowers.
Yes.
And the wall,
I've seen
makes
people
it
like turn them on the
one-
side and then use a leaf blower, like just
you
completely
don't have
invert
to
them.
with that because if you try to get inside of a bounce house with the leaf blower, you're literally just circling all the dirt, dust.
Yeah, it does make sense.
But in the obstacle course, you have two open ends, so you just start in the middle, and you have another person start in the middle. Y'all work your way and you just blow it right out the end. I like cleaning obstacles. Combos to me are the worst things to clean.
If you're able to say you like cleaning something, I immediately want to jump into it because I hate the
like
cleaning part. That is
like
the
cleaning.
one part I hate.
The one thing I love the most about this business is cleaning everything. I love cleaning bounce houses.
Oh my god. I
obstacles.
don't mind if it's at the place, but if I
Water
have to
slides.
take it apart at home, it's annoying.
I just love cleaning stuff.
I take
because
it apart at home anyway.
It's one thing that anyone who you hire is they're gonna hate it, and so you have to show the love of like, look, this is how you do this is how you clean it, look, and show them different little tips and tricks.
That's such good advice, bro. Because my guys fucking hate cleaning. Because
Yeah,
I
so
said it's
you have
my
to
They
show
fault.
'em.
should. That shit sucks.
But no,
It's
but
my
you have,
fault.
you have to show you have to show them how much fun it is to clean it
Oh my
because
god.
That's a normal human feeling to hate to clean.
How much profit do you think you guys make with the obstacle courses? I'm wanting to get some, but not really because I know they're a pain in the ass. I have one, but I charge a lot. I'm charging like $880.
Are you getting schools and stuff?
why are you
I mean,
charging
I
them?
kind of mostly got it just for schools and big events and stuff like that. So I don't really mind doing the whole backyard rental. But now that you guys are mentioning it, now I kind of feel like I'm missing out, like maybe on, on sales. How much do you guys normally make for the whole year?
So last year, jump off rental side did about 245,000 last year, and that did 16,000. So it was my 16.5. So of everything in my inventory, it was 7% of total sales.
And we're
Which
really close.
number
Man.
one?
You were really close then. I was at 265.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah.
It
So I
was-
mean,
it
that
was
was
a pain in the
right.
ass.
So
It was a lot of work.
did you have a unit do over 15,000?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we just had variety and just kind of having the whole variety. What we would do though too is I would flip them, and that's what kind of kicked our ass. So now I'm trying to not flip them and just pick up the next day. So I used to just rent them out on Saturday, clean them on site on Sunday, and re-rent those units,
Yeah.
But that also kicked our ass like really bad. So now I'm kind of switching to just dropping them off on Saturday, picking them up on Sunday, and calling it good. I'm not flipping those again because it's just too much.
It's a lot.
But I feel like that's
Why-
going to be more work though too, still, because then those people don't have the option to get those units, but then they're going to get other new units, and that's going to create
Yep.
more fucking
So
clean.
Bruno, how are you gonna make back that money you're losing? Because you're basically chopping it in half.
I went up on price, and I'm also trying to like market. I'm trying to like do a bunch of like different things this year, try to market a little bit better, Google ads, Facebook ads. And I was also thinking about marketing it more like on the billboards, like on the highways and stuff, getting our brand
That
a little bit
blip?
more out there with the QR code and all that stuff. So
Yeah, I'd love to know if you do
definitely
that, how it
I
goes.
went like from 120 on a I'm not even kidding, like 140 on our regular units to 225 and 199.45. So we jumped quite a bit just so that way we could keep up. Also went up a little bit on our price on the other ones, but not a lot. It's kind of it's been tough. But
Oh, so I want to know why you charge $850 for your obstacle. Like, what kind of obstacle course is it?
it's the Magic Jump, the Star Wars Magic Jump unit,
Ooh, okay.
and that
that's
one.
right.
So it's themed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
okay.
that big
Yeah.
walker one. Yeah, I like that.
Because I
That's
was
the one I wanted.
confused.
Nick
Yeah,
told
I
me
was-
don't get it.
Well,
Truth.
Because you can charge up to 1,000 for that thing, but I was
Right, that's what I
confused.
wanted.
But you got to start with like a smaller like obstacle where you can charge less. You
Yeah.
need one of you need one
And
of you need water slide, you need a combo, you need an obstacle course.
And right now, I just don't know really where I'm kind of like, targeting just yet everything. I'm kind of wanting to get it more into weddings, I would say. So
Me
I'm trying
too.
to add like the marquee lettering, their numbers and stuff. And those things are freaking expensive. I don't know if you guys seen those, but we recently got the numbers and that costed a pretty penny. It was like 3,500. And then the letters, they cost like $9,000, you guys.
Damn, do they really?
But you can want to get into weddings, but weddings suck.
Yeah.
Look at that one.
Ready?
Hey, that one's not bad. That 40-foot one.
I've got a bunch of magic jump stuff, but I
don't know.
have
Look at that
But
one.
when it
Nice.
comes to obstacle courses, though, I feel like it takes like I'm the type that likes to make my money back quick. So like for example, I have like several units to rent the most.
Purchase
so I get
price
those
divided by
10
10.
to get my money back quick. On the obstacles, I'm always afraid that it's just not gonna make my money back quick. And sometimes I need that money to keep moving money, versus like if you get an obstacle, it's mostly gonna go for like events, church, schools, etc. And how often do those go out? But I guess it also depends on the area, because it sounds to me like if you guys make 16,000, it's pretty good.
How about that obstacle course you have? I'll trade you one that is cost less and more people rent. You'll make more per year.
Mhm.
I have two now and they're super heavy.
Yeah, like that. Like this is heavy. Like this is way heavier than mine. Like this is a
How heavy is
60-footer
this
with an
one?
obstacle and a rock climb. It
Oh,
says
go-
it's
go to products
I
and go to
missed
the licensed ones.
All
I
the
wish-
weights in
so
that
Star
slide
Wars.
piece. All the weights in that slide piece.
ours are not that heavy, dude. They're easy.
Yeah. So I have the one from Leisure it's like pretty much 600 pounds. Actually more than that. That's gonna
Yeah.
be a bitch. And then we
Is
had
that wet as well? Oh my
Yeah.
Is
god.
it one piece or a two piece?
it's a one piece that can be wet, so that's just gonna be a bitch.
Oh,
600
dude.
pounds? God,
Rent
you're
that
gonna
one
kill
dry
yourself.
only.
And then we just
Hell yeah.
600 pounds.
Right there. Yep.
we had just the one from what the hell is it? Ninja Jump. And that's like 600 pounds.
That's the one
that-
Nick, that's the one I want
Yeah.
right there. Look
That
at
one's
That's
that.
the one. I'll trade
That's
you one
so
for one
That's the one
that
I
makes
have.
more money.
Bro, the Millennium
much it
Falcon,
weighs. It's
is
two pieces.
circling.
That is beautiful.
Right.
It's got to be at least 600.
They knew what they were doing when they made that. And that's messed up.
That's
Okay,
bro,
355 plus
350.
38 is two pieces.
That's
So it's
actually pretty
over
sweet.
700.
You get 800.
Yeah, but why are
Yeah,
you
but it's
counting
two
as
different
700?
pieces.
You're not
Yeah.
picking up both pieces at the same time.
The ones I
Correct.
have literally are 700. Which
How
is
much
gonna
would
be
you guys
bitch.
rent that? How much would you guys rent that for? Because like I said, it's like mine's like
Purchase price divided by 10.
Yeah,
That's
you
what I
want,
do for
you want to
everything.
make your money out. in
550,
10
560.
tries. Yeah, 560.
Yeah. That's not bad for that. Or more. You could honestly charge
That's
more for
easy,
that.
Bruno, how often
That's
is that
easy.
thing going out?
Right?
But then
Not a
look at
whole
the
lot.
Millennium Falcon.
Not a
Look at the
whole
Millennium-
lot. That's the thing. In the area where I'm at, I feel like they're pretty cheap. But then there's times when I'm like, man, they do care about, like there's some big people here that are willing to spend on the water slide, like especially like the JOs. Remember I told you guys on the chat, I'm getting 420, 450 for those. Those are probably like the ones that make me the most money in the summer. So people are willing to pay for those. And
They dropped the
For
price
what?
of this by 2,000.
No weight on the Millennium Falcon, by the way. The sequel.
Yeah,
Because it's like 9
That's
trillion
the one
pounds.
that I wanted to get, but I was testing waters first on the other obstacle, and since it didn't go like how I planned, I kind of backed out from the Millennium. But
Yeah,
from
there's
what
There's
Yeah,
a
I
guy.
know.
So I've been in one inside of one of these at an indoor bounce house place that's kind of by me. And they had it on 3 2.0s and it was still squishy. And then there's a guy that has bought rolling straps from me that has one. And
Look in the picture, that blower, it's squishy.
yeah, like, look at that right there. But there's a guy that had to buy, he bought 2 sets of rolling straps from me so he could put them like this way and this way. He has to put them both directions. And then he wanted me to sew extra rings in them so he could winch and pull in and then winch back out and hook to new rings because this thing's that big of a bitch. Like this isn't for us, bro. This is for the
This is
indoor
literally
place.
like 6 people, maybe. That's what a friend of mine said. He needs at least 6 people to get that thing rolling.
It's huge. Like
If you have one
inside,
dolly one,
like
you
I'm an
could roll.
adult and I'm running around inside with my kid, like just openly running around. I'm like, oh fuck, we're in a whole different section. Like it's huge.
That's what she said. But yeah.
Facts.
Hey, but I still want that thing.
But see,
I
what I've
mean-
learned is like just because you love Star Wars so much, like a bunch of smart people like us, people who are nerds, you love Star Wars. But
I love Star
a
Wars.
lot of the kids nowadays, they're not into it.
They like
as much
Peppa
as-
Pig and shit.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars didn't change their life. It's just another thing that's on
Melon.
millions of different options. Like Frozen probably had bigger impact. Toy Story, all these things
Get that one, bro.
like if adults were the main one who were like getting inflatables to have fun and stuff, of course, Star Wars always number one.
This shit was sick. They had this at IAPA.
That was
Those
cool.
could be like corporate event things.
I like that one. The whole thing with the fire and stuff in the front, that was really cool.
That was the way they did that was cool, dude. I was
Oh yeah, I
very
love that.
impressed.
I love the way they did the fire on that thing.
Bro, and 307 and 325. That's like nothing.
Yeah, I think
I
if I
like
ever
that
get
from Diapa. I think I like this one and the home. What's the other home inflatable? The whole with the whole DJ thing and all that. You seen it out there?
What one? Oh,
The whole DJ and stuff, and
it was
I thought that was pretty cool, like an indoor place.
yeah,
They don't do
yeah.
they don't
Like a
do
boombox thing,
inflatables
huh?
outside. Yeah, they do like a whole inside indoor inflatable.
Yeah, that was cool. I was like, dang, we
That's a
should
good
get that.
name.
No, it wasn't. It was eye candy, right? It was eye candy.
What's that? What's the eye candy?
No, it was the inflatable depot. I think that's what it's
Inflatable
called.
depot. That's it. That's it.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like how hard they thought about their name.
I know, right? Wonder how much it is though.
So Nick,
Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
What's up, Mark? You're
Okay.
back, baby. What's up?
I got off because I had to do some things. Now I only got a few minutes because I got 5 dogs to take out. But I
Mark's a
remembered what
billionaire.
it was that I was gonna say. Okay.
What's up, Mark?
Why am I
Mark's the
having
man.
there's like a drift back on my voice or something for some reason. So there was something that I wanted, I couldn't remember what I was gonna say when we were talking, and it goes back to the pay.
I can hear your
Mike?
echo.
Yeah, see, that's, I don't understand why.
Dude, your echo is like 3 seconds behind. It's so true.
Maybe it's y'all's is alcohol in your systems. Here,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
hear you.
leave the meeting. No, listen, I'm gonna leave and come back.
All right.
So now what?
Solid.
We wait, bro. We wait for the Godfather. Mark is the Godfather. We wait quietly.
Nick, how is your white bounce house doing?
Oh my God, bro. It's a fucking
Dude, I bet it's a nightmare. I don't know
It's a
why he
mess.
doesn't sell that
It's a
immediately.
mess.
Just
Oh, it's
flip
going to be
it.
for sale soon. It's a long story
Oh my
that we
God.
won't get into right now.
I wouldn't have kept it for an hour. First come.
There we go. He's
Hey.
back.
Okay,
Are you back? Are you back, Mark?
all right, now do I have
Can
the
you hear me?
echo?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so, yeah, do you have an echo now?
Yeah.
All right, so
I don't hear it.
I got just a few, yeah, I got just a few minutes.
Now I hear it.
Nobody can hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, y'all are mocking me.
No, we're not.
No,
Low,
like, I
low.
think you have your is
Now
your
they are.
voice coming out of the speaker. I'm not mock. I would never mock.
Go for it, Mark.
But no, yeah, the voice is coming
Like,
out too
my-
loud in
I'm
the speaker
talking-
and it's coming in your
You
microphone.
guys are like,
Mark, you have Facebook open, man.
Oh, you have Facebook open. Yeah. Close Facebook in the browser. Yes. Good call, Justin. Good call.
Hey guys.
Now can you hear me?
How are you?
Perfect.
all right, now is it better?
Perfect.
All right,
Mark.
so what I couldn't remember because of all the overtalk was they were Justin was talking about paying people, and I was listening to the different demographics of the pay scale from like $25 an hour to $30 a unit set up and break down to $15 a unit. I think Freddie said, or I think that's what he said, breakdown. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it, and what nobody failed to mention was there's different demographics in every part of this country. And I'm going to put Florida out first. Florida can rent literally 12 months a year outside. You go up to Buffalo where Justin is, they got a 5.5 month period to rent. So they can rent the same combo that Freddie rents for $225. They can rent that combo for $600. So they can pay their person $25 an hour. Us down here in Florida can't pay somebody $25 an hour to set up a combo. It just ain't gonna happen. We don't get that kind of money to do that. So the point that I'm trying to get at it was that main factor. Every part, you can split the country into almost 4 different sections as far as how we can rent. California is damn near just like us. They can almost rent year round out in California. Florida can rent almost year round. Louisiana,
I'm renting margarita machines in December.
I'm talking just inflatable stuff here. Louisiana, they get nailed with cold. Alabama, nailed with cold. Georgia, nailed with cold. They're limited. They can get more money than what we get. I watch some of these guys talking in the groups, and I'm sitting there going, okay, I got a 20-foot water slide. I can't get $300 for it down here in Florida, but these guys are getting $500 for it. How is that possible? Well, then you got to stop and think, wait a minute. They're booked up 2-3 months in advance because their people around them, their area, demographic area, realizes we only have a short period of time to rent from them, so they can charge more money. So I'm getting to the whole paying situation of per unit. They're not going to pay, if they were to pay their people per unit up north to set up and pick up. Let's just take a jump orange 19-foot slide. Down in Florida, you might get $275, $300 for a 19-footer average price. Some people get a little more, some people get less. Up north, they probably get $600 for that slide. So they can pay their people $25, $30 to set up a slide where down here, we couldn't pay the people $15 to set up. So I was listening to the chatter amongst all of us. And I mean, it was quite a few of us were chiming in, and it got really confusing because nobody talked about how much you can get for that same unit or for a compatible unit, and how you can pay more money. And that's something that, and I haven't had a beer in over an hour, so you can't say I'm drinking here. It irritates the shit out of me. One thing that irritates the shit out of me is when you hear people say all this money they make in a weekend. Some people do. But if you're a 2-truck trailer person, company, and you try to tell me that you do 50 rentals on a Saturday, you're going to literally have to kiss my ass hard to get me to believe it, because I don't see how that can happen. So I think a lot of the people in our group extend their income to make them look bigger than they are and talk that they pay more than what they do. But if you actually sit down, I think some of the people don't pay and get what they say, because I know a lot of them, and I know some that are just buffaloers. But like down here in Florida, Freddie was talking about what he pays, and that's the honest factuals right there. I'm in Florida. I know what it's like. Everybody has the cheap bounce house rentals. Everybody has the cheap waterside rental people. But it comes down to what you physically get for that unit is what you can pay. So we'll just use me. Let's just take, one of my 18-foot slides, I get $225 for my 18-foot slides. That's what I get in Florida. There's no way I could pay $25 for drop off, $25 for pickup. It can't happen.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mark.
But that same 18-foot slide from Leisure up in Michigan, they get $495 for it. So they can pay $25 drop off. They can pay $25 pickup. So it comes down to the demographics of where you're at, the financial demographics of where you're at. It's a total different game. So nobody can compare apples to apples when it comes to that, unless you're in the exact same
Location
or location area. So that was the things that I was trying to remember to say earlier when I totally forgot, because everybody.
And see, that's a pretty good point, Mark, because I mean, you guys are busy, all year round, and I'm not. Out here in Kansas, we don't even start until March, and we're only good for like 5 months, and I have to hustle and flip them and push and push and push and push to be able to, get up there with you guys. And I see a bunch of people from Florida. They're like, oh man, I'm booked up. I rented like 10 units, South Carolina. And I'm like, shit, I'm over here, just sitting rocks, just kicking rocks out here because it's just dead. It's cold and nobody really goes out.
Okay,
But you made a very good valid point.
But like Mark is saying, cocaine is cheaper in the South. The more you go north, the more
What the fuck?
the more you go like in Michigan and stuff. I mean, the price. I was listening to Mark. Like the prices are different everywhere. Doesn't matter if you said you're in Kansas or Connecticut. Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, yeah, the prices are different everywhere. In Arizona, there's places that are like seasonal. In Michigan, you got your seasons where when it's snowing out, you can't do shit. And when you bring water slides out in summertime, it's more valuable.
Just drinking too much.
which
Drink too much.
a good example is a friend of mine is Todd Lindsay. He's in all our groups. His name is Todd Lindsay. I've been friends with him since he basically started his company. He's up in Idaho. He barely has 5 months out of the year. Okay, barely. Like right now, I think he's sitting at like 15 below zero right now. I physically talked to him the day before yesterday, and he showed me a picture of snow that was like past his windows on his house. And I'm like, holy shit, like he's dead in the water. But them 5 months, a 19-foot water slide that we may get 275 or 300 down here for, he gets 695 to 750. So in that short period of time, he makes basically the same money we make down here in a whole year. He just makes it in a 5-month period or a 4.5-month period. So he can pay a little more money for
Keep in
help
mind, he's also flipping the hell out of those units too
because
to achieve that.
that is true, but I know he doesn't like to do that. But that is true what you're saying. What you just said is absolutely true.
But
because they
here's the
have
hard
to.
part, Mark. Here's the hard part. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No.
But the hard part I would say is, okay, you know, for example, out here, you know, our season is pretty much dead after October, right? Now the hard part is like, how do we pay employees for the rest of the remaining months? You know, when there's absolutely like no
Christmas
work.
Christmas lights.
Oh,
Christmas
I see
lights.
Nick do that. I see.
Christmas
Yeah, I
lights.
have no.
Or
no-
do what Justin said.
Hi,
I honestly have no
jumped the
answer
border.
for you, Bruno. Like when it comes to that question, Bruno, I absolutely have. I have no answer to give you with that question, Bruno, because I've never experienced that, so I don't know what an off season like that is and how much it takes out of you guys to keep employees working. That I can't answer that. That would be even maybe a Nick question, or even a Cobus question. You know, I mean, he's in North Texas, if I'm not mistaken, isn't he, in the cold section? Or even, you know, you go up to Les Goldberg, I think it is how you say his name in our group. He's in Illinois, I believe. You know, he experiences that. I have no answer for that for you as to advice or anything. I would just be shooting shit out of my ass if I tried to give you advice.
No, that's
But
the hard
I
part.
wanted to bring up the thing about the money because I remembered it as soon as I got off. When I said goodbye and I got off, I remembered immediately, and I'm like, okay, I got to come back on here and say this because a lot of people don't think about that, and that's a big thing in everywhere. It's a big thing everywhere. So I just want to throw that 2 cents in. All right, I got 5 dogs to take out. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. And y'all been on here for 3 goddamn hours already talking, man.
Thanks, Mark.
Nick's got to
You're
go
the
to bed.
legend.
Look at him.
Like,
He's falling asleep with the mic there already.
when you
All right,
speak, when you
have
speak,
a good
Mark,
night.
everybody listens.
So
All right, y'all have a good
You're
night.
the OG.
Thanks.
later, Mark.
Original gangster.
Oh, Jate. All right. So I did some rough math while Mark brought up that point because and real talk, I never ever thought about that. Like if you're gonna pay per unit or per hour, it's gonna be higher there in Michigan, right? I never thought about that. Super good point. So I did some rough guesstimation math, and it's probably about down here. If you're paying per unit to drop off, it's probably around 6.5% of the rental that you're going to pay to drop, and then same amount to pick up, right? So that would be 13% total of the rental price is down here what those companies probably roundabout pay. So if you wanted a good number, round up to 15%, and then there you go. Then now you know 15%, 7.5 on one end and 7.5 on the other.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never paid per unit, but I've heard of people doing that. And I thought it would be like a really cool way to just like pay people less than what I should, so I could just come out on top. But I've never done that.
Yeah,
Yeah, the way you put it was really spot on. I don't know.
Yeah, his point was like that's one of those things where it's like, I mean, I record videos on this shit. I get DMs all day long, reply to people, you know what I mean? But bro,
All right.
Mark been in this shit for
Question.
21 years. Like he got more wisdom than any of us have in our small finger and our
And
pinky.
the hardest
finger,
one to kind of figure out, Nick, I think it's the ones in Texas, because their whole deal. I talked to a lot of people from Texas, and their prices are just so different than the rest of the whole.
Dude, it's
low,
fucked here.
you know what I
It's
mean?
fucked. It's
Yeah.
fucked.
DFW, yeah, DFW can't even get so
Everyone in Texas competes for the fucking bottom, and it pisses me off because I'm
Yeah.
competing
Okay,
for the
but-
top, and I'm scoring.
so
like
you-
LeBron.
You have to
Going
you have
for
to
the most points.
Yeah, you have to differentiate yourself. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna be a person with a combo or a bounce house or a water slide, you're gonna compete for the bottom. When you first start out, you gotta start there. You know what I'm saying? Like competitively, but as
Yeah,
you go, yeah, and as you go, I've tried to position myself. I've tried to position the jump off right as the more premium option, and that's a funny thing to say in this industry, but right, I think it's a fine line, but it definitely exists. And so then this is the year where we're really gonna go hard after that, going after schools. We're sending out brochure trifolds to fancy neighborhoods, doing that kind of stuff, to where it's like I'm gonna try and go a step above. But Texas is crazy. Like,
So let me
DFW
rephrase. I wish they would just stop the compete for the bottom like mindset and just transition to, hey, let me raise my prices. Let me keep up with inflation. Let me actually see if this could actually be
They
a
won't do
business
it.
in my area.
It's-
They're too
it's
afraid to
not
take
how-
that leap.
Yep.
It's too
This
much of
is
a
what-
different pay gap.
Crazy.
They're too afraid to make that leap. And once you do it and it's successful, it snowballs and it works.
the
And it works
problem
because
is
I did it.
the problem is, and I would love to be able to attack this. And I have some plans that I don't have big plans to attack this, but the problem is the turnover at the bottom is high, right? So random fucking dude comes in with 3 water slides. Fuck everyone. I'm doing for $100. And so he does them for $100. That's what brings it down. That guy doesn't last very long because doing water slides for $100 sucks balls. But then the other guy that comes in, right? And so it's just that turnover at the bottom that's killing it, right? So hopefully here within the next month, I plan on recording some videos that are not so much just fucking bootstrap it and get out there and you can fucking do it. Like, I'm going to have record videos that are like, this shit's fucking hard and expensive and scary, right? Like the real,
Okay, yeah. I see
you know what I mean?
you're saying.
Like,
Yeah, don't just polish it, make it look good. Like there's some shit behind it.
and
I have good advice on this because I lived in Texas and in Arizona. The closer you live to Mexico, like, yeah, you're gonna. So here, people they have bounce houses for $65. It comes with 3 tables and 24 chairs.
That's what I'm saying. And it
And it's the
pisses me
same
off.
thing
But
in Texas because in Texas, like you got MS-13s, you got all these gangbangers or whatever. It's scary. In
I've
Arizona,
never ran into that, but
I'm probably not.
I have
in Houston,
ran into
but,
the
like,
low ballers.
in Arizona, it's not scary at all. And people, but we're still really close to Mexico. So like they're not trying to be number one. They only need an extra $100 every weekend or $65 or whatever it is. But I try to compete with them so much at the beginning, all the time. I would drive an hour away and go set up a water slide for $99.
I would rather advertise the different level and experience you'd get compared to the other guy.
What I learned from Grant Cardone, everyone hates this dude, but what I learned from him was
I like him.
he was like, raise your prices. You literally will, it'll be easier to get customers and everything will be good. And I was like, in my
And
mind,
your
I was
client
like,
base
there's no way.
changes.
Yeah, and I was like, there's no way.
Your client
because
base
I'm-
100% does a 180.
Because in my mind, I was like, I'm barely getting customers now. It's so freaking hard. If I raise my prices, I'm going to get 0 customers. But then I was like, all right, let me just try to just like double my prices right now. And all of a sudden I started getting so many more calls in. And then I was like, okay, well, how about I raise my prices even more?
Something
And-
that somebody told me about raising your prices compared to having like the $85 bounce house. Some of these customers see that and think it's too good to be true, so they keep moving.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
also customers who will say, how come, like, I was looking at your bounce house.
Josh,
it's-
so what are
it's-
you
it's-
charging for a bounce house right now? Because I'll raise mine right now and test it. Because
Well, it
It is
depends
right
on, it depends on where you are, but from what Freddie just
Thanks.
said, I've had people say like, look, I can get a bounce house for $65. It comes with 3 tables and 24 chairs. Why am I going to spend $150 on your bounce house? It doesn't come with any of that. Then I tell them like, well, look, so we have insurance. We're insured up to $5 million per year. All of my employees are safety
$5
trained.
million. Wow.
Well, that was when I was with Casio. Now it's 3 million.
But
I
hey,
switched
Josh,
to
I think
Freedom. But no, this is my sales pitch, and it'll help everyone who, if anyone is ever like, well, this person is charging this much, how come you're charging so much more? And I tell them, like the $5 million insurance policy, all my employees are safety trained. If you've ever seen a bounce house or anything fly up in the air and you see it going around and kids are getting hurt, it's not going to happen with us because we stake our stuff down. There's ATSM standards. We go above and beyond that. And so you will not have to ever worry about that. And you will be surprised how many people call me every single weekend and say, hey, I got this bounce house for $65. They didn't show up. Can you please rescue us? And
Bingo.
when you pay the extra amount with us, you're guaranteed that
Bingo.
you're not. I mean, this is my whole sales pitch. I like
How much
you're
money we
paying the
win, Freddie?
extra.
How much
you're
money
paying
we
that-
win?
hey Josh,
You
Josh,
saved a
extra
kid's
amount.
party.
can I add something to what you said? Because I think you have some pretty
Okay.
good valid points, Josh. I really do.
Mhm.
But one thing that I have noticed, because I'm always, moving things around and checking things and stuff like that. It all comes down to branding. It comes down to the image, that you give your customers. If you give a crappy logo, crappy graphics, crappy shitty, even if you raise your prices, they're gonna think that it's a crappy, bogus company. You gotta set yourself apart and have a nice image for you to also raise your prices. You can't just raise your prices and expect high-end customers when you have to kind of build up that trust. You also, what I like to do too, is I like to get involved with like the city, and sponsor like events and stuff like that, and kind of get my name out there, because at the end of the day, they're gonna tell more people, hey, have you heard about this company and stuff like that, and just kind of having that trust and build with like the city and sponsoring events and stuff like that. It goes a long way, but I think it's just the whole package, the presentation, the t-shirts, the hats, the vehicle that you drive. If you roll around with a crappy, design, bad website, bad everything, nobody's gonna really see your company. I think
Yeah.
serious.
That's like a good thing to do. Like,
Yep. I feel
but-
like you have to, build the whole package in
but
order.
if you're trying to sell somebody on, like if they're over here like seeing all, because a lot of people compete with the bottom because they're like, okay, I need to compete with, and I need to
Competing
lower
with
my
the
prices.
bottom, the reason they do it is it's guaranteed money. They don't have to worry about it. They know it's going to come in.
But
immediately.
you make so much less money doing that when you
Yes.
focus
doesn't make
on
any-
your pitch and your selling point of why you charge so much more, and you really nail that pitch down. And when they ask you like, how come? Because if they're even entertaining you, and if they're looking at you and they see that your price is higher, the price is not the most important thing to them. And it's literally an opportunity to sell them. Because I've had people, like dedicated customers, I raise my prices like every 6 months, all the time, and they're still loyal and dedicated. And in the very beginning, they were like, well, I can get a bounce house for $65. How come yours is so much more? And it's very necessary to be able to sell people on why you're such a better company and why people should
They
spend
gotta
more money.
trust you. They gotta believe in you. But if you go up too high, which I think I did, it could also kind of hurt your business.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because I actually did some market research like right at the end of December, I think. And I go through, and I do this often, right? But like I make a little spreadsheet and then just go through and list all the companies that are like major competitors near me. And then I do like combo dry, combo wet dry, water slide, obstacle course, like, right. And then I just go put all their prices. And I already know mine, right? And so then I analyze where they're at and where I want to be at. And well, I was kind of actually surprised, and this was a while back. This was in the fall when I did this, but I was kind of surprised that their prices jumped ahead of mine. Like I was the most expensive for a while, but it like I looked at it then and didn't change my prices, and then I looked at it again in the
That's
winter
good.
and didn't change my prices again because I'm like,
No problem.
I don't really want to go like I'm not trying to be pretentious or anything, but it's like I want to be Nike, and Nike doesn't give a fuck what Brooks or On Running releases or what they charge. Like they charge what they charge because that's what they know they should charge for their product. And it just kind of like, right. And I actually had two of my guys when I was doing it at the end of December. Two of the guys that work for me, I'm mentoring them. They're starting a pressure washing business, and I was mentoring them. So they came over so I could help them with some stuff. And they're like, well, fucking raise this, raise that. I'm like, bro, it's just not worth it to me. Like it's, I'd rather stay where we're at and then go.
So how do y'all actually create your prices? Because normally the way I did my prices is I took the purchase price divided by 10. Because if I can't rent that unit 10 times, I need to get rid of it.
I usually
No
do.
ifs, ands, or buts.
I do a
Like
market
within the
analysis.
first year, I need to get rid of it.
I
So
do market
there's
analysis.
some people who actually want to pay the highest price. If you become the highest price in your community, there's some
It
people
all,
who
it
have
all
really
depends on
bad
where you're at
experience.
too.
There's some people who've had bad experiences with companies, like they didn't show up. And I tell people all the time, like, okay, yeah, if you rent something for this price, like just know that they're bidding on each other. And if they find someone who's gonna like pay a little bit extra, like they might not show up.
Dude, it's
to your house.
guaranteed to be there.
And
And
you
probably
want
the
to target
worst thing to do,
the most rich people in your area. And
probably one of the
by
worst
doing
things.
that,
Sorry.
by
go
doing that
ahead.
is you put your prices more expensive than everyone else. There's somebody in your area who is going to want to pay that. I do it all the time. I'm like, if I'm looking at something on Amazon, I'm like, okay, I want this thing. I'm like, there's all these cheap things. I'm like, what's the most expensive thing? Because I want to buy the thing that's going to be the best. And there's people in your area who are going to want to spend the most money. And it also, I think that having good reviews too also helps. Like I wasn't the most expensive when I first started, and I was just all about like Amazon is like literally leading the world because you can look at people's reviews, you can see how valuable stuff is. And I was like, I'm focusing this business on, we're going to have the most 5-star reviews so I can be the highest price. And I think I think 5-star reviews is very important. If you don't have that many, you gotta get them. So then being high priced is how you get the really good customers, because they want to spend their money and know. And you can fuck up everything, but they're like, okay, this is the most expensive company, we're the best. They won't even complain.
Yeah, if you try to
So
sell, if you try to sell your BMW for $3,000, nobody's gonna call you. You raise it up to $23,000, your phone's gonna ring off the hook because no one's calling on a $3,000 BMW.
Yeah, they're gonna know something's busted on it.
Correct.
They don't want something they have to work
also,
on.
guys, remember that also depends where you're at. Like I'm looking right now at Nick's website. His dual lane 22-foot slide is going out for $395. My dual lane 22-foot.
You've got a dual lane for $395.
Apparently, it's winter, so apparently.
Yeah, I would do the same thing. Yeah,
Winter, yeah, you got seasonal pricing too. You got to equate that. You got to.
You know what? One thing
It's
that I
like a
noticed
stock
too, a lot of
market.
people
It's a
kinda-
different business to get into.
One thing that I kind of noticed too, some people kind of mess up is that they try to price all their combos the same price, even though some of the combos, some of them weigh more, or some of them, because they're not all the same. So some of them are harder to fold. Some of them are just. I try to price them based on how much work I have to put in it. You know, like I see that too. You know, a lot of people mess up, or like, for example, like I have some competition already here in my area that I'm pretty much the highest one here, but some other ones are going lower. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna go. The worst thing that I could do is if I go lower, then that's kind of gonna bring my brand down to them. What I'm planning to do is
I think if you don't have the reviews to like back you up.
Yep, I got the reviews and stuff, but I also giving out discounts and coupons and stuff like that. I think that kind of reels those customers back in, but also sets kind of like standards. You know, why do we charge what we charge? Well, it's because there's a big difference of the quality in the units and the service versus the other ones. So just wanted to throw that out there.
So we priced all our units based on like a market analysis, like what Nick does, where I have like a whole spreadsheet. Because I was an accountant for many years, so I'm all about spreadsheets. So I listed like 15 competitors that aren't those Facebook Marketplace, and then I made sure my price at the moment, because I only have 22 reviews. I made sure mine was kind of like middle/high in the price. Versus the people that are demanding the most, they have like 600-700 reviews. It's a little harder to demand those prices at the moment. And then regarding my combos, right now I price them all the same just because myself, I'm able to physically solo, whether it's the 300 or 400 pounds, it's kind of the same work. But
Kevin,
if it was the case where I can't, then I probably would charge differently.
I
But
think you
it's
got
all
to
the same
believe
work.
in your product, though, Kevin. You got to believe in your product and your service. Even if they have the prices a little bit higher, you should try to like
If you
experiment.
don't believe in your product, at least believe in yourself, and then charge that much.
Charge a little bit more.
Charge a little bit more.
Because some of the stuff that we all say, like I take some points, and some points might work for me, and some of the ones I mentioned might work for you, but we're all in different areas, and at the end of the day, you gotta like try to different things that's gonna work best for your market.
Yeah,
I think
we're like about $50 cheaper. So like what you just said with Nick, that being $395, ours with what was it, 22 dual lane?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do 600 here. And
Another reason
my
I know we
competitor
keep
would do like
the
like
22 foot
657.
double. How much do you guys do? 22,
600.
600. See,
But,
like
but
in
like,
my area,
I think y'all shouldn't even worry. Don't even worry about what other people are doing. Just the most important thing is focus on how many 5-star reviews that you can get. It's so important. Then you can set your own prices.
I feel like
Because-
Google's screwing us with that. So
Well,
many
the
people
question, the
say they
reason he's
review,
asking,
they don't come.
we're comparing is because he asked, how do you get your prices?
Yeah, so we're
And
just
I said, it
telling
all
us how we
depends,
do it.
it all depends where you're at. Because my dual lane and Nick's dual lane are not going out the same price.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
whoever
but we're
has the most
Northeast.
5-star reviews in their geographic area can charge more. Than the
I
other
agree.
person.
That's why I want to get into those 600s.
Hey, talking about reviews really quick, you guys. I've been doing a lot of like back and forth. Oh shit. Back and forth kind of thing on when to send out like the reviews and stuff. And I noticed that I get a lot more people giving us reviews when we send them out, send out the like the text or the links or whatever every like I want to say every third week to a month later. So just something
But
to kind of
What do you
the one
say?
who's out there all the time, you got to get them yourself. You have, because sometimes my guys, they'll go out, they'll do like 17 events, and I'll go out and do one, and I'll get the 5-star review from the one, and I'm like, okay, this math is not adding up. How come I did one and I got a 5-star review, and you guys went out and did like 16 other ones, you didn't get a review?
Is not talking to them like you do.
And you have to ask them for it. I mean,
They're
you
treating it
can't-
like fast food, not fine dining. When you
Yeah.
treat it like fine dining, you're gonna get good reviews, and you're gonna get a lot of reviews. A lot
Yep.
of these fine dining places, they have 5-star reviews, and it's for a reason. You look up a McDonald's, they're gonna have low star reviews, and it's for a reason. So you got to remember it that way.
I have some.
Eh,
I've got a lot of good techniques too on how to get.
I don't
five-star
agree
reviews.
with that a whole bunch.
How many 5-star reviews do you have, Freddie?
Let me know why, Fred.
Okay, so to answer Josh, I only got 27. But the reason why I don't fully agree with it is because you have a fine dine place that has a standard, and if it doesn't meet the standard every time, let's say they do 100 in a month, right? And if they get 50% 5 stars, that's 50. That's let's say 50 5 stars. McDonald's is doing such a large traffic that they can do 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 in a month. And if they get 50% 5 stars, that's half of that's 2,000 5 stars. So you get more 5 stars out of that. You get what I'm saying?
People are not going to leave a review unless they have an emotional experience. It's either going to be something that's really amazing, where they're like, okay, I want to leave a review, or it's going to be really shitty, where they're going to leave a bad review.
But
So what are
also,
you guys at
I
in
think
terms of
where it goes-
conversion rate for 5-star reviews or reviews?
I don't really ask for them, to be honest with you. I barely ask people for them.
Because we're like at like pretty much 30%-ish. But I know
You
like
gotta-
when we were going for like 2 weeks and I had my brother do it, he was at like 80%. Like he literally anytime he drops off with somebody, he has something in common with the person just by like
He
observing
probably
something.
smokes weed.
He doesn't. None of us do.
Oh,
I
damn
mean,
it.
So
He
what
just
I've
does he
learned-
just does a good job. Like he and it's a quick conversation too, but he picks something that is relatable in some way, and then the customers love it. I wish I
you
could
have to-
pay him.
You have to read
stay.
this book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Like Dale
Sometimes-
Carnegie,
There you
or
go.
whatever his name is.
Sometimes you can just go in someone's backyard and be like, oh my God, your grass is so green. Like, how'd you get it this green? People love to hear themselves talk.
Yep.
You just throw out,
compliment.
or if they have a smoker, be like, oh, you have this smoker? Like, I love smoking meats. And then you just let themselves talk and talk and talk, just like what I'm doing right now. And people
Set up a
love to hear-
bounce house while they're talking.
yeah,
Boom.
people love to hear themselves talk, and the more that they talk and you listen, the more of a connection that you build with that person.
But I feel like
You know what
asking
they
too,
like you.
too quick, because I know a lot of people ask for a review right away, and it's something that you just want to throw out there. Give it a try, because I've been seeing a lot better results, every third week or even a month later, because then the customer actually goes back and remembers that experience whenever you guys did the drop off and stuff, rather than asking right away. I've done a little bit of
So
research.
Bruno, do you ask them twice? Like, do you ask them like a couple of
We-
days after and then that, or just
No.
that alone?
No, couple days after, because see, you want to make it memorable. So like, I feel like it's been working a lot better for me if I ask them for a review on the third week or even a month later, because then they realize, oh, I remember the bounce house guy, or I remember the whole party and how they went. And I have seen a lot more people leaving more reviews when I do that versus the every Tuesday or every Thursday link.
But see, I think at that
Bruno,
time
that's
they're
pretty
gonna
smart.
forget
'Cause that's
you.
like a
So
distant memory.
Yep.
I asked them to leave a review after the setup, because I don't know if the whole pickup situation is going to be okay. So like right when we set up, if we set up everything good, it's like that's when I'm like, okay, because I don't know if the pickup's going to be all right. That's when I key in. I'm just like, I ask them for it all the time. You
Really?
can't close on the sale unless you ask for it. And then all the time they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll leave you a review. And this is when I come in, I'm like, oh, everybody always says that all the time, but like I really feel like you're actually gonna do it, because like I can just see how good of a human being you are. And like wish all of my customers were more like you, and I really have a good feeling that you're gonna leave a review. And I'm gonna text you right now as soon as we leave here the link where you can leave a good review, and then boom, it's like that. I don't even wait for the pickup because there might be a shit show in the pickup.
I don't know if I want to experience the drop off, but I do kind of want to experience the pickup where I just kind of send the text right then and there. Because every single time they say like, oh, we're definitely gonna leave a review. Heck, even when those auto texts come out.
Oh,
from
you're gonna
event
leave a
hawk,
review?
They
Prove
still
it.
they still say.
No,
I've had
that's when
people
you-
say that I have left you a review. And there's
Dude,
no review.
I've
Is
had
that-
more people say they're gonna leave a review than actually left a review. It's terrible.
Well,
Like,
that's
it's
when you
the
you
worst.
use
Like,
that.
facts.
Never bet on someone saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna
I'm
leave a
gonna leave a
review,"
review. They
because
don't.
it's guaranteed 100% of the time.
And I
it's
get
not
it
happening.
because I'm kind of the same way. Like I forget. Like I had my realtor ask me like multiple times.
That's why Bruno's on one. 1 month after it's a distant memory, they can recall it. They're like,
Yep.
"Wow,
Yep.
Bruno,
Then they actually
that's
think like,
awesome.
oh,
Thank you, man."
they care about me. You know, if you mention their name and you talk to them and send them the link, they're like, oh man, they remembered me. You know, it's not just a number. It's like more
Keep in mind,
memory.
it's how you sell it too. It's all about how you sell it.
I want to know the people that ask for a review. They don't get it for a few weeks and then ask again. Does anyone do that?
No,
My workers do because
I
paid
feel
them
like that's
extra.
kind of spammy. You know, if I ask them too many
spammy, and you don't do business with that again.
yeah.
I'm just
Sometimes
asking. I've never done that. I'm curious.
My workers do it all the time, but they don't do 2 weeks.
Do you compensate them? Is that why they do it?
Oh yeah, all the time. I give them 20 extra bucks for every review they get, and whoever.
How many
is
reviews do
getting,
you have?
360, I think.
How many did you get last year?
No idea.
I'm a math guy. I'm doing math here.
I'm trying to
Not-
do like
not as
a
much-
like
not
a
as much as
giveaway
I
with my
wanted to,
guys
'cause-
to incentivize reviews,
And
like
whoever-
hustling them.
Yeah,
my-
when it
my
comes to
guys-
reviews, I'd rather be McDonald's on the reviews. You know what I mean? Where it's like, do a good job, ask them for the review, move the fuck on. Like that's just the way I view it. Like if we did, I view it. I have a lot more accountability on it. Where it's like, if they get the text message asking for the review with a little link in it, and they don't go do it, we didn't do a good enough job to get the review. We move on, right? And I have 157. 156 of those are 5-star. I have 1 4-star.
Damn. It must have been one of those people that are like, nothing's perfect in life.
No, I fucked it up. It was my fault.
Oh yeah.
No.
After all of
Well,
my
then that's
1-stars, I have
fine, 'cause I
have
cannot
4
stand the
1-stars.
people
They're all my
that's-
fault.
I can't stand the people that say nothing's perfect in life and just give you a 4-star. I think
Nah,
Nick.
those add legitimacy to the rest of the 5 stars.
Nick, be honest, because it's going to add a lot of expense to my business. And I'm thinking about it. Since you've had Event Hawk do your ads, how much has it risen sales?
A lot. I don't know,
A
like,
lot? Okay.
but I started ads at the same time I was adding inventory. Like there was a lot of moving parts going on. But I'll put it this way. I could not believe how busy I was last year. I think, let's see, let me think. I started ads probably in like April, maybe. It might have been March, but I really think it was early April. How busy I was in May and June and the rest of the year was just I didn't know I could do that much that quickly. Like I said, there was a lot of moving parts to that, but plenty of it, you know what I mean, comes
And
down
so
to
that's
that.
their actual Google ad service where they run your
I'm not
ads.
even thinking about reviews. I'm just thinking about like
Yeah,
generating sales with Event Hawk Google ads.
yeah. So I started like regular Event Hawk, right, with the pop in,
Right.
but
Just the chat. That's all I got right now.
yeah, and that was awesome. And then I went through and made my own Google ad, and after making it, like I was whatever, probably 3/4 of the way through making it or something. And I was like, man, I know this thing's gonna be fucked up. Like it's gonna be fine, but like it's gonna be
Dude,
fucked
there's
up.
like 90 steps to set up an ad.
Uh-huh.
It's ridiculous.
So Nick,
And my
It's
problem
so
was
much easier now.
I had so many other things to go do, right? Because the
Right.
business was scaling at the time. to where I was just kind of like, you know what, the little pop-up thingy was like, you know, the results were so good on that. I was just like, screw it, dude. Let me do that. I just pay them.
So
like
you
it-
never actually got to finish setting up your own Google ads before you
No,
did it?
I did, but like, I mean, I don't remember. It was last year, and it was a quick thing. But like,
That's
it might have been
hard
a
because
day.
you'll lose so much money if you don't know what you're doing. My brother has a business, my mom has a business, and like they lost so much money, but they wouldn't listen to what I was trying to teach them. The most important thing, this will save you guys a bunch of money. You don't need Event Hawk. Is first of all,
You can
your
set it up
target-
yourself, easy.
your target area, because you can like make your keywords like bounce house rental or waterside rental, but it'll show all over the entire United States, and you will get 0 customers, 0 leads. You have to set up your target areas in your city. And they make it so freaking easy now. Back in the day, 15 years ago, it was so hard. Like when I used to run ads way back then, it was really hard. It's because it'll be like, it'll ask you like, what target areas do you want? And you just, and then right next to it, you can exclude areas. So I exclude all the poor neighborhoods.
So
All,
Josh,
like,
I could do that too. I could do the chat thing myself. It's just Tyreek did all the research for me. Just like I'm doing all the work for the clients to do the bounce house. Tyreek did all the back end research for me for the ads, for chat. It's just one
yeah,
little
I
extra
think
bill
the
right
chat-
there.
Yeah,
Boom.
the chat thing is good.
That
I
could
mean,
make me
it'll
an
help you.
extra 30,000 per year for
Easy.
$100 a month. Easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
the-
it's
Well, the
One
Google
little
ads-
pop up, boom,
Well-
and you
well,
can
the
actually
Google-
do it yourself.
the Google
I just
ads
know
isn't
Tyreek did
$100.
it.
the
No, Google Ads is
it's
probably
not- it's
300.
I'm talking about
it's
chat.
probably, yeah, it's probably 300-500.
Um,
The chat thing also might scare people away because I've had I talked to a lot of girls.
You have
and
to
I'm like,
tweak it. It's very spammy default. You have to tweak it.
but
Yeah, I feel like I gotta tweak it.
I think
Too
in the
spammy.
You do.
the Event Hawk with the chat thing and the pop-ups actually does benefit and
The
help people, but-
templates are just what I use. The
but with
templates.
the ads thing, it's like you can't be scared of it because
If you're
all you
only
have to
using
do-
the template, then you're not using the whole system to its full potential.
I'm not. I guarantee I'm not. Like I know I'm not. I'm
The
literally
theory-
just using the templates and I made them my own way. That's it.
But
least
I
he's
completely
honest.
understand where you're coming from, though. Definitely. Because I
Actually,
used to do that.
I just went and set up obstacle course on the Google ads, and it was actually kind of frustrating because it wouldn't let me isolate the target location. Like Google ads just wouldn't let me do it. They're like, no, we need you to do it, like expand it more, because they're trying to get more money out of me. So I had to like
I
kind
mean,
of
there's
expand
two
it
different
more.
ways you can do it. You can either do a radius, you could put like 5, 10, 15, 20, 35 miles from a certain zip code, or it's so easy now where it'll literally just ask you to type in like your target locations. And I feel like that's the most important thing because you're like Event Hawk doesn't know the poor neighborhoods that are around you.
Target locations is what's making me money right now with my ads.
The problem is I'm in Rhode Island, which is the smallest state in the United States. Rhode Island in itself wasn't enough for the Google ad to be able to go through. So I had to like do like a radius, which included going
Here's
through
what I-
water into another state.
If I can circle back to what Josh was saying, I know exactly what he's talking about. I would rather have Event Hawk build the template for me, get it optimized, and then I change the location where I want to advertise. Because
Yeah,
I
and you
know
can-
where
you
the
can
money's
spend-
be
you
made
can
in my
spend
area.
the $500 and
Yes.
a month have them set it up for you, and then just deny access to
After
your
that.
Google ads. And then you can go in and fine tune whatever you want to.
Yeah,
One
so
thing that I
what I
feel
ended
like-
up having to do was I actually had to add dunk tank as a keyword, and then it worked. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll throw that in there.
That's
Another
fine.
thing I feel like some people are missing too is that they're not measuring everything. And what I mean by that is like for some of us, Google ads might work, but for other areas, Google ads might not work. You might do better on Facebook ads or
Yeah.
any other type of
No,
marketing. It's not just one specific thing. And that's one thing that I feel like things get switched around or everybody believes like, oh, just Google ads. but it depends on your area. It depends on your location. There's many factors, but you have to measure everything where your money is going through and see what the return is. Just
I think Google
wanted
is
to throw
so
that out.
important.
All these
today-
ad platforms are very smart. They can track that for you. Just
Yep.
run through a ABC test on all of them. Figure it out. Then
So just-
invest heavy. So my market is Google. It's Google ads. My clients in my area, I know they have their card ready through Google. They don't have it ready through Facebook. I do no marketing through Facebook. It's all through Google.
I actually do want to add some marketing through Facebook though, thanks to
There's some gems on
What's-
Facebook for sure.
what's his name's that foam daddy guy.
Chris?
His book. I was thinking about adding some Google ads, but more specialized with like obstacles. I was actually just adding Google tags for the Google Analytics because I want to start really looking at that stuff because that's the stuff kind of Event Hawk would be looking at. And so I want to start looking at that. So that's what I was working on today.
Nice.
Also, I want to like up like how much for the cost per click, depending on, because if you look at like the search whatever on Google ads, you can see like what like the minimum amount you have to pay to be at the top of the page and what the maximum is. And I kind of want to put mine a little higher than where it currently is to try to be up there more. I don't know, there's a lot of research to do in it. And like you guys were saying with if you pay for Event Hawk, they did the research, they're just doing it for you.
I don't know. I don't want to get into that subject too much.
Yeah,
I like to learn things myself, so that's why I'm
Some
trying
of
to
you
do it.
guys know why.
which is good, right? Because you got to be dangerous. You got to be dangerous in everything, so you can make sure that whoever you hire to do it, whether it's in-house or third party, is doing the right things, doing the right job.
Like the websites, I actually did a lot of it myself, and I actually am glad I did because now if I need to fix things, I know what to do. Or if I need to like change anything, I can just do it instead of waiting a few days with the inflatable office.
Hey guys, I'm going to bed. Good night.
No
All right,
worries.
Brady.
Have a good
Take
night.
the shower.
Later.
I think I might go.
Does
with you
anyone
tonight.
here have a dunk tank? Before we go, I want to know about dunk tanks. Is it worth it or not? Yes, no.
If
I
you're
have
doing corporate
one.
events,
100%.
yes.
Okay. That's all I needed.
We actually just landed a school that wanted the 2 obstacles and the dunk tank. I really just
I-
got the dunk tank as an add-on.
Yep,
Same
that's
here.
what-
Mine's an add-on, and I have the foldable one. Amazing. Good night.
Good night.
All right.
I was actually gonna ask one question. How many people do you have per a crew? Is it 2, 3?
2 or 1,
One.
but mostly
Two or one.
2. Waterside season 2 right now 1, unless it's a long ass route. Like it's a long ass route, 8
Have
units.
split.
We'll run 2,
Yeah.
but right now 1.
Alright, so I know like Jana was saying she does 3. I've never heard anyone else do 3.
Oh, Kayla does 3 all the time. Every time I've been to an event, she's got 3 dudes there. But
I think it's because they clean there on the spot. And if you like calculate the time it takes to do all that versus bringing it back home and rolling it out and paying someone to clean.
Kayla cleans everything. She does not clean on site, but sometimes she makes over $100,000 in one weekend, so she can afford.
Holy shit.
Yeah, once you get to a
she's
certain
got-
size, like the extra
Yeah.
dude is, insurance for you to make sure it goes well, right?
Nobody's
Negligible.
getting hurt.
Yeah, negligible. Like it's just insurance for you.
It's different for everybody, though. That's the thing. That they are on a whole different level. And sometimes I feel like, people forget that, especially
Right.
some of the beginners. You can't tell them this way or add this whenever, some of us have 30, 50, 80 units. It's so completely different for a new guy. Some of the tools, I don't even need some of the stuff. I'm just being, dead honest. It's just word of mouth. It's not really like buy this, buy this, buy this, because then I know, I'm just gonna say it. I know a few people that are spending $350, $500. At the end of the year, they could be using that money to get in a new combo or stuff that they don't really need. They don't really need. You know, they don't have that kind of traffic as yet. As versus us, we have traffic coming in on our website.
Right. That's a good point. People, yeah,
That's
people
all I'm gonna say for that. Yeah.
I'm
with
like
5
firing,
units. Yeah, I'm with
And
you.
I
I'm
know
like
that
firing like the last minute question. Does anyone have enclosed trailers?
No,
I
open only.
used to have 2.
I got some.
Used to, and you got rid of it, or?
Well, so the one, it was a 24-foot because I had a moving company
Jeez.
to get my guys more hours during the week. I bought it for 9,000, and then the whole thing hit where everything started becoming more expensive. I sold it for 14,000.
Nice.
That's nice.
Shit.
Yeah, same thing with the other one. And I did have 2 different box trucks, and I sold them for a profit.
So do
So
you
what
only
are you
have
running
open
now,
now?
Josh? What are you running now? Are you enclosed?
Right now it's really shitty because it's 3 trucks and trailers, regular trailers.
Like open
Which
trailers?
sucks. Yeah,
Are you more up north? I forget who's more north.
I'm in Arizona.
Arizona. Oh shit.
Because, like, everyone where
enclosed,
I'm at-
enclosed trailers are the most badass because they're so low to the ground. Like there's literally no steepness to the ramp at all. It's so easy to get anything up in there.
So in my location, I don't know anyone but me that has open trailers and running around.
No.
Everyone has
mean,
box
it's
trucks or enclosed.
Even with my box truck, I mounted a winch like up on the top where you can pull anything you wanted to up the ramp with the winch. But enclosed trailers are by far like the easiest thing, or a box truck with a lift gate.
Yeah, I think I'm leading towards the enclosed.
I mean, it's a billboard on wheels. You know, you could always wrap it, and I mean, not saying that the other ones you can't, but I feel like for my area, I feel more comfortable having an enclosed, just because you know we have shitty ass weather out here, and it could rain or wind and stuff, and you know.
Are you more north? If I remember, someone was more north.
I'm in Kansas, so like out here is like really windy, but we get mixture, man. It's like one day it could be really sunny, the next day it could be snowing. It's
That's
just
like with us. It could literally snow in April, May.
yeah, it's just bad. So that's the reason I went with the enclosed. But I mean, I feel like you gotta work with what works best for you in your area.
Well, I think enclosed
no
are
right or
really
wrong.
cool because enclosed are awesome because you can like literally mount up E-tracks. You can have all your extension cords. You can have a little separate section for blowers, and this and that. Same with like having a van.
Yeah.
Enclosed are awesome. Don't have any.
Yeah, I think I gotta get it custom made though, because every single one that it's around me is 6 foot 6 inches height, and I don't think that's enough.
Mine was 11 foot tall. About 20
How
foot.
tall?
It was 11 and a half feet.
Holy shit.
Nick is all quiet. He's getting tired.
Yeah, he
I'm
wants to go to
out,
bed.
bro. I'm out of gas for sure.
I won't hold you guys anymore.
Oh, all right. That was a badass one. That was another 4-hour banger. I can't believe that. Would not have
I'm
expected
sorry. I shouldn't have came in here.
that. No.
I
Welcome.
always miss yours because like unlike with like say Event Hawk where they're sending tons of reminders, yours is like a Discord message and then it's like shit, it's already past it. Like I
Yeah.
showed up at like the last 10 minutes last week.
Yeah, I try not to spam because I'm like, nah, dude. Like, I want it to
I
be
need
something
spam.
you show up to.
Try
Like,
not to spam, but you use the Event Hawk.
A lot of contradiction there, buddy.
Oh, no comment.
I know he was gonna say that.
I'm going to bed.
Don't worry, I like my spammy text too.
Oh,
There you
that's
go.
funny.
All right.
I'll catch
Have a
you
good night,
later.
everyone.
All right, later, guys.
Later.
Bye.